gotta leave it to the professionals.
Blessed by Bundy, blah, blah, blah.
Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, yo, set it up.
Surfing on the web and I'm shooting at 3. I've been goated when I got my G. I'm an alien boy from a different planet, yeah. So I got my drink, I'm riding in the 1920s Model T Ford. Call her Era Lord. Call me Levi, playing on the keys, boy. And I'm about to put my gloves on. If I said it, then I meant that. Yeah, I like that one, I'm about to get that. Crash that whip for the drumsticks, whiplash. I'm about to get them all. Are you with that? In a white boat, surrounded by blue. I want one, but I got a cop too. I wanna fly high in the sky, arms out wide, trying to soar from a bird's eye view. I'm on fire, Ricky, Bobby, cracking the pavement, Whitney, Bobby. I'm a Saki bomb, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Bruce Wayne been a dog, and I keep it 101, cause I'm feeling kinda spotty. You sipping on some rock, and I'm sipping on octane. The only thing around my neck is the
Started off with a
blockchain.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
NFT, Twitter, blockchain. Seeing with the ghosts and we ballin' like LeBron James. Crypto. We can make a trade, get the memo. Refuse not falling for the FOMO. Listening to coffee with Captain. You know we worldwide, they loco. I ain't never gonna stop rapping. Orlando, yeah, we working magic. We rocking Ethereum NFTs. I just went and caught me a half base. Man, I got a shout out
Started
to
off with a
Body.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Breaking the mood to choose one, but they got knowledge to move, son. I'm shocking in shades with my brother in suits. Yeah, them blues is coming. Even though it's hard to pick, eeny, miny, mo, soda on the mix, no biting lips, it's time to go. Index number 1, no thumbs up, you gotta scroll. Looking at the ghost in studio, it's time to go. Had a helmet on by myself until I met a mask that wanted to have a face off. So had to bring my chainsaw, full tank of gas in the drive with my brakes off. I'm A1, but a different kind of steak sauce.
GM, welcome to Coffee with Captain. Kane, I know you gave me the heads up, you gave me the warning. I flew right into it yesterday. It did throw me off a little bit today. And I guess my biggest takeaway is it just drives home. I need to get a crisper opening, crisper, more repeatable, duplicatable intro myself. As always, never any financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, certainly not yours. Don't join us for that. Just want to share some fun, some information, a little bit of education along the way. GM to the early GMers, those over in YouTube popping off already. Riss, Helpful Soul, Thomas, Corona, Web3 Warhead. As I said in the pin post up top, the real ones subscribe to YouTube. That is our biggest ask for the month of February. If you want to help out the show, if you want to help out us, go hit us with a sub over on YouTube. It would be greatly appreciated. And for those of you already done so, we have a little surprise coming in for our YouTube subs here. It's going to be the 27th, Friday the 27th. We'll pick our community member of the month for February. Reigning community member of the month, Teacher Katie. We haven't decided. We haven't even discussed if we can have a repeat community member of the month. Probably won't go back to back. But Katie is holding down Abstract over there. I mean, all the chats, but she is the Katie is to Abstract chat as Mel is to X Spaces chat. Congrats again to Katie for our first community member of the month in January, and looking forward to sharing some love to another community member here in a couple weeks. Hola, Diego, appreciate you in the Xeet card. I collected my first Xeet creator card. The first one I collected was Diego. If anyone else has any Xeet creator cards, if you were one of the few selected for that, let me know. I'd love to do a creator card swap. I have a few of those, actually 23 remaining that I can give out. Probably won't do all on the show today, just because a little bit of I just got to share the ref link and a little bit of back and forth. But Let me just pull it up now so I have it. And like I said, if you have a Xeet creator card, let me know. Would love to collect yours, and I'll share a ref link to collect mine as well. We will definitely give a few of those away on the show today. I need to make sure which ones have been claimed and which ones haven't. I'll need to refresh this screen. Let me pull it up here in case you haven't seen it yet. I will we'll highlight that here in a bit. But before I don't know if Steve has a card, actually. I don't know. I've not asked him. I've not talked to him about that, but I will find out. And if he has one, we'll see if we can get a few Steve cards to give away here on the show. Also, boy, oh boy, are they killing X Live video? It might be dead. It might be killed. Once again, 2 days in a row now, I can't find it. It's live. I sent it live from StreamYard. Actually, I do see now it just popped up. There's a few people have found it, but same thing as I mentioned yesterday. It's not just us; it's across the board. Like for instance, Modern Market's wrapping up. They only have 27 on their account and 64 on Bread's account. They've been live for an hour and 6 minutes, and usually when they stream the video from Bread's account, they get 600-700 video views, and it's like 1/10 of that today. I've not seen something nerfed on X for quite some time. Maybe Jesus knows. Jesus GM, thanks for jumping up. Any ideas what's going on with X live video?
I honestly, bro, I really don't know. Every day I stream on X and I do Toshi Bet on X as well, and nothing's showing up on my timeline.
It's
wild. I don't know what's happening.
Do you, and anything you don't want to share, I'm not trying to pry, but you stream, I know you go to Abstract and X. Do you use StreamYard as your
yes,
your studio?
Yeah. And I use and I have like the premium plan, so I can stream as many destinations as I want. It works through it. It goes to my Kick. It goes to Abstract. Now I run into shit. I run into a lot of problems with Abstract the last few months. It's been rugging me over there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they can't give me an answer. So I don't know what's out. So like I went like 5 days in a row. Yesterday was the first day I was able to stream in like 5 or 6 days on Abstract.
Huh. Interesting.
And what's wild is my co-host will come in on my stream and he's able to stream to Abstract through my StreamYard. So I know it's not, StreamYard. I know it's something going on with the RTMP or something with Abstract. But X has been rugging us on the live streams for a few days now.
Yeah, it's wild. I haven't.
Yeah.
And I too, I don't think it's anything StreamYard related. And I also think, well, actually, I think the Modern Market guys moved over to OBS, but they may still be pushing that feed through StreamYard as well. I'm not certain, but
well, and that's the thing. It's going to show up. It's like it shows me in StreamYard that I'm live on X. Like there's no connection issues, and it should be showing that for you. And you might have the viewer count on your StreamYard screen, but people can't find it.
Yeah, and I mean, not only can people not find it, it's not even on my own feed. Like I go to my profile right now and it's just not there. So
yeah, when you said that, I went to your feed immediately and looked, and I couldn't see it on there.
Wild.
But I can see it at the top of my iPhone.
I don't know what they're doing, man. I appreciate some of the moves they've made. The one thing I saw, yesterday we talked about Nikita nerfing the Clippers and suspending some of those accounts, which I get. I mean, I understand like they don't want the copy pasta slop. It's also, I don't know who was the interview, but I saw a clip of it's funny. I saw a clip of a Nikita interview where he specifically called out InfoFi and said, oh yeah, we eliminated one of these things. And like, I'm going to see if I can find the clip, because while he was right, InfoFi did lead to a lot of AI slop. He also clearly didn't understand InfoFi. He thought the whole thing was just about pumping tokens, and while was that a part of it? Were people going for TGs? Sure. But I think what he missed the mark was it wasn't just about pumping the latest meme coin token. Like there was real legitimate companies leveraging InfoFi, leveraging whether it be Kaido or Xeet or any of them Klanos, for instance, how does he can't? Klanos is, they've broken out of Web3. They're making all kinds of news and headway in Web2 and in traditional media, and they had a fun InfoFi campaign. It wasn't about some just getting the Klano token, or it wasn't about some scammy pump and dump. They were leveraging it as a way to market without paying a handful of KOLs. And so I think while Nikita wasn't wrong, he also was wrong. Like he clearly didn't understand all that InfoFi was, and he just grouped it into like a scammy crypto shill. And while did some do that? Sure. But it's just like clipping. Like clippers by themselves aren't bad, but I understand what he's attempting to eliminate is you see 769 of the same clip all pushed out by an agency, and that doesn't help anyone. Doesn't help, other than the agency. Doesn't help the creators. I mean, maybe they make $5 per clip. Maybe it doesn't help. And oftentimes, a lot of the good clippers, they're not even being paid. They're doing it for not just the love of the game, but the opportunity to help grow their account. And what happens when you have the duplicity, can't speak. When you see so much repetitive copy pasta, people just start muting it. People check out. People don't pay attention to what the actual content is. Anyways, I digress. I think the one thing that I don't understand yet is, and I saw a few people have this take, is why don't they just ship the paid promotion tab? Like I think every other social platform has. And if it's a paid post, click that it's a paid post and be done with it. Like,
but people still aren't going to click the fucking paid post. It doesn't. That doesn't really matter. I mean, it does in a way. Every post, if you are getting paid on creator payouts, every single post on this platform is a paid post. No matter if you're saying GM, no matter what it is, because you're trying to get paid more money from X via your impressions on your home timeline. So just because I go and talk about creeps, I'm not paid by creeps, but I post a shit ton of stuff, and I've never been paid by them, but some people would assume that I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like you posting for Bored Ape. You're going to get a lot of impressions. You're going to get a lot of things. So, I mean, there's like two sides to it.
There is. That's valid. There's definitely two sides. Yeah. I understand where you're coming from. At the same time, I do think the paid promo button would help. If nothing else, it provides maybe a little better CYA for the creators that do want to stay above board and do things like, yes, you're right. Theoretically, if you fit monetization, then theoretically every post is a paid post at that point. I think more so if you're being paid directly by a brand to talk about their product, you should disclose that. And a lot of people do disclose it. Some have gotten very clever in how they're disclosing it, right? They'll make a disclosure post, I'm happy to partner with so-and-so brand. And then anytime they talk about that campaign or talk about that brand, they won't disclose it in the initial post, but their first comment will be basically linking to their post from weeks ago where they said, hey, I'm proud to, happy to partner with this brand. And I that's fine. As far as I know, I've seen some attorneys do that. So I'm sure that checks the box. I just think, I don't know. I don't know if there's a downside to a paid promotion or paid post button, maybe even a tab. And if that, now I could see the downside in that. It's if there's a for you and a following in the paid promo tab, no one's clicking the paid promo tab. Like those are just, you're probably not going to get much engagement. So
yeah, I mean, I get it. I people need to see the clarity and what's going on. I put out posts for Toshi all the time. I don't put my partner in it on every single post, but when I talk about it in spaces, it's nonstop. It's my partner, whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's if they ship it, they ship it. Like back to the InfoFi thing. I wish Nikita, instead of just sitting on the timeline, shitting on everything, I wish he would have had like a 30-minute call with like industry leaders in InfoFi to really find out what InfoFi was. Like if you want to build with your community and build X to be this great thing and rival YouTube and some of these other platforms to pay creators, then you should sit down with the leaders in Web3, because we are a big part of while a small niche, we are a big part of X. And yesterday, Elon said he does not like the current algorithm, and that they're going to be changing some things again. So
yeah, I agree. It would have been great. At the same time, I also I don't know what, it's weird because Nikita's an advisor for Solana. It seems to me that he very clearly has some sort of vendetta against crypto specifically. Even it's not just the clip about InfoFi, but it's for whatever reason, he seems to be very much so anti-crypto. Maybe that's because they're launching payment. Maybe that's because they have their own plans. I really don't. Maybe there are, unfortunately, part of crypto Twitter, some of the users are just very annoying and disrespectful, unprofessional. I mean, you saw it, not just Nikita, but you saw it from I don't know, I'm drawing a blank. John, his last name I can't pronounce, or at least it's not coming to my brain. The founder of, the creator of Claudebot or OpenClaw, went basically blocked a bunch of crypto people. I saw Sammy had he's been doing a daily or every other day, here's what's happened, the daily recap on Claudebot, and had nothing negative to say. And the creator blocked him because he saw that there was some crypto mention in the post about other stuff that people are using for. It's it sucks how they, even legitimate builders, legitimate products, often get grouped into the worst of the worst when it comes to crypto Twitter and the crypto industry. We certainly have a reputation and PR problem. It's frustrating because, not just because I'm here and building in this industry, but I'm not exaggerating. I'm not blowing smoke when I say not only incredible friends that I've made in the last 5 years here, really sharp, really intelligent people, great builders, entrepreneurs. And I'm grateful that this industry has connected me with these individuals. It's not everyone, but unfortunately, a lot of those good people, a lot of those great people might have 200 followers on this app, and they might be active. They don't farm impressions. It's because of how the algorithm in this app worked, and hey, I'm unfollowing anyone who's not active right now. GM if you that stuff got it became such growth hack that so many people went that route. And I do believe it's the minority of people in crypto are the loudest, and because they're so loud, and I know this isn't crypto at large. I think if you get away from crypto Twitter and you go to a real life event, you realize that you don't even see those annoying, loud crypto Twitter personalities at live events, or if you do, they're normal. It's, for whatever reason, the perception of others, especially those on Twitter, they just like to group in all of crypto in with the worst of the worst of crypto Twitter, and it's frustrating. I don't know the solution. I don't know the answer. I don't know how we break out of this. But when you see people like Nikita, who's head of product at X, be so anti-crypto, and it's easy to see why, but it's not fair. It's not a holistic view of crypto, of on-chain builders. And it's I did pin up a post that I saw Joey also post in the comments, about Beezy's growth in the last month. It's from Simon Dedick from Moonrock Capital, and they're exploding. They're exploding in an industry that's one of the hottest industries on the planet, be it TCG. And I know Beezy's more than just TCG, but really leaning into those physical collectibles, and obviously TCGs being a big part of that, and put this is a real world business that's made collecting physical collectibles better. It's simply better than an off-chain counterpart, and their growth is incredible. I've got a chart pulled up here now. This is their gross revenue by claw, and you can see I think I saw Joey. Correct me if I'm wrong, and we'll get back to whatever you raise your hand for. But did I just see that tweet from Andrea that not even a full month yet on base, and it's already over 20 million? Is that there was a 20 million number, and I believe it was just on base. But correct me if I'm wrong on the time frames. Is that right? I might be confused.
Yeah, so she put up, I think it was yesterday or today. I can't remember because she's in Hong Kong right now. But 20 million in total revenue since launching on base.
It's incredible. Like incredible. It's a crypto native protocol, crypto native brand, crypto native team. I'm not in. Let me make sure. Yes, I missed the last XO round because Joey alerted me too late. So I'm not an investor in BZ. They've sponsored Coffee with Captain. I think we did like a 5 or 6 month campaign. And I'm not sure if I shared this, but I'll go ahead and share it now. Our courtesy of BZ, and this is not sponsored. They just are contributing. I guess since we're talking paid promo, I guess you could say it will be our community member of the month will be sponsored by BZ, or the prize rather. The community member of the month for February is going to win a TCG Gold claw pull, which is a 250 claw, with the average value of 200. Yeah, we did talk about this because the top prizes, it's like there's now one at 5,000, one at 6,000, like awesome prize. And BZ's supporting us. Excited to give someone in the community a nice prize, but also excited whether they had ever partnered with us or sponsored us or not. I'm proud of the brand. I'm proud of what this team is building. Like they're doing things. It's not been easy. They launched on Blast, and we all know how that played out. And while they had some initial success, obviously the chain itself didn't work in terms of what they were hoping for in terms of consumer chain. And then they went to Flow, and it opened up some easier consumer onboarding. And then launching on multi-chain with Base, it's kind of, saw the chart from Simon, it's kind of a blow off top. And again, like if you remove the on-chain elements and just look at it as a traditional business, the chart's impressive. The numbers are impressive. Like they're doing the thing. They're building an incredible company that is going to be, no pressure, but this may sound crazy. I don't even know what their internal goals are. But if you think about the industry, be it physical collectibles, TCGs, the early success they've already seen and how early they are, like there's a world where BZ becomes $1 billion company. They do, I know again, that's a big lift, but you're thinking already 20 million in less than a month on base. It's not too crazy to think, and I'm not saying 2026, but it's not too crazy to think if they continue this growth trajectory, they're doing $1 billion a year in revenues in 27, 28, like at some point in the future. This is an awesome crypto success story, but unfortunately, and I'm not speaking for Nikita, but my perception, my read from my viewpoint is, Nikita groups BZ and every other on-chain company and every other on-chain campaign on X the same as he does someone pumping and dumping a random meme coin they made on Pump yesterday. It's not lost on me connecting those dots that the person they just awarded $1 million to in the for their first creator their article competition is a meme coin dev and is allegedly per Bubble Maps rugged well over $600,000 from X users. I'm digressing. We don't need to go down that path, but let's do this. Let's go. I see Jonah join the stage as well. Cheese is up here. Let's go to Joey. Joey, take it whichever direction you'd like, as well as congratulations on entering the world of KOLs. I saw your, speaking of X and doing big things on X. Joey gave a shout out to OpenSea following the Mega ETH Open Edition mint and got a repost from Devin, the CEO of OpenSea. So congrats on that, Joey. Nice post. And it only took you a few years of trying to figure out this algorithm, but you finally made it. You finally got one of those viral posts with a little assist from Devin. But congrats in all seriousness. Take whichever direction you'd like.
I'm still a pimple on the ass of a giant elephant. Wait, It says I'm muted on stage. I'm not muted, am I?
Nope, I got you.
Oh, okay. So I came up when Jesus was talking about, the InfoFi stuff, and I'm gonna push back and say I'd wager they did a lot of research on InfoFi before they just squashed it. Like maybe they didn't talk to, Pons at Xeet and maybe they didn't talk to the founders of Kaido, right? But I would wager, because I did some research while you guys were talking, and they say roughly there's 6 million quote unquote crypto accounts, 6 to 8 million roughly crypto accounts on X. And there's about 550 million X accounts. So it makes up about, what is that? 5%? No, what's the math there? 5%, 1%? I don't know. I'm trying to do the quick math. So I would wager they probably did a ton of research and a ton of kind of like understanding of how big of a business this is. My guess, and we talked about this before, is that they're trying to monetize and really push their ads platform because of how successful Meta's ads platform is. Meta is the number one data ads platform in the world. And if they want to create additional revenue here, they've got to be more competitive with their ads platform on the level of Meta. So I would wager that they're setting up for a push on getting more people to use their ads platform versus you making money from a Kaido, a Xeet, a Cookie, or whatever. Now, whether it's the right decision or not, I don't know. I'm not smart enough or know enough to be in that room with those people at X. But I don't believe, and Jonah would know because Jonah was building, he talked about what he was building for other platforms. I don't believe you can get APIs for Facebook and Instagram to reward people. I don't think that's a thing. Like it is here.
It is a thing.
Yeah,
we use them.
It is.
I thought so. Yeah. Jonah, go ahead and fill in the gaps. I'm pretty sure most, if not all the other. Now I don't know the fees or what they charge. X did just change.
They don't charge anything for us. They do. It depends on your calls, but right now we're just getting our Meta verified for Instagram, but we're already patched in as a verified TikTok app. We're already a verified YouTube and Google app. And we'll be probably a verified Meta app by Monday or Tuesday.
When you say verified app, does that explain that? Does that get you the API access, or you get the API?
Yeah. You need to go through their verification. They it's like an app store, right? If you're getting read permissions on their software, they need to know, what your company is, where you're filed, things like that.
Makes sense. And again, you still can get X API access. It used to be.
We don't even use it for our clipping stuff. We find it to be a complete waste of time.
Used to be cost prohibitive for the startups because it was just such a high threshold. Now they've changed it.
We use X for reads. We read data and statistics and our clip. And I won't say any. I'm not going to say anything other than we already spoke to Nikita and we're not really concerned.
Nice. So, do you have a take then on I tend to think Joey's heading down the right path, that part of the nerfing of InfoFi, yes, they wanted to clean up the slop on the timeline. I also do foresee X doing something. I'm not saying it's going to be InfoFi, but I did see today they're now over $1 billion a year in subscriptions. And I foresee them doing something with, I don't know exactly what, but I would be surprised if they don't do something in the ad realm that's not just ads, but something where,
sure.
kind of InfoFi.
TikTok has TikTok Shop. You can become a TikTok verified creator and then get, campaign offerings. Instagram does it too. Instagram has their own in-house offerings. Twitch has their own in-house offerings. This is all, relatively standard. This is not, we're not breaking new ground here.
Yes, standard, but it's also still, I do think it is a new frontier. Specifically TikTok Shop. I was a bull. I was early to TikTok Shop, was talking about it on this show. Von Frutton and I specifically, I thought it was very impressive how I thought they leapfrogged all the other big social giants in terms of their e-commerce platform, especially incorporating creators like they did. And now fast forward like a year, and while I'm not deep in the TikTok streets, what I see and what I've heard from some leading social people is that, some of the big creators on TikTok are leaving in droves for a couple reasons. One, they're censoring stuff, they're nerfing stuff now.
They're mainly leaving for the Israeli stuff. That's really about it.
And I heard like that just the end users though are also leaving due to TikTok creator shop slop, essentially. Like whereas before they used to really like the algo, Lemony thought it was the best algo in all of socials, to where now it's, every other thing they see on their post is some paid promotion from a TikTok, TikTok creator, shop creator. Thoughts on that?
I can't really speak to it. I don't have empirical data that says otherwise. I think if that were totally true, then people wouldn't be using Reels, and yet Instagram Reels are growing very fast.
Well, that's what they said. Part of where they're leaving TikTok and going to Instagram Reels because it just, like, I guess my zooming out without having the data, it is a fine line as far as if you're going to incentivize.
Yeah, I mean, I think that statement, I mean, regardless of whatever the data is true, is if every post is a slop paid post, then you're not going to have people who want to be there. Yeah, I mean, unless the intent is to shop, which is why you have apps like Whatnot doing really well and growing really fast, because the intent is there. It's like you are on Whatnot because you want to buy something, right? Versus TikTok or Instagram, you're on TikTok because maybe you'll buy something, but really you want to see some funny shit, or you want to see a video, or you want to, doom scroll, whatever it is.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, two fine lines. Fine line in terms of paid versus unpaid content. And then even in the paid realm, how do you, I think there's there's a huge range, a big difference in paid content. Like some paid content is good. Like it's a really well written or a good video that's more like it's a paid advertorial. Like it's something you'd see in like a leading, show or magazine or, website where it comes across as like good content.
My counter is it's less about the ad and more about how talented the creator is. If there is a creator people really love that makes really good content, they're willing to put up with an ad because in their mind, there's, by watching that ad or supporting that creator, you are helping them make money to make more interesting content that you like. That doesn't mean everyone's like that, right? Like ad blocker is very big. And I think there's a limit, right? Like obviously on Twitch, sitting through 3 minutes of ads is extremely annoying, even if you really like the creator, right? So again, there is a balance, but I find that if the creator is really good, people do not care that they get paid deals as long as they disclose them and just let them know, right? I don't see it being a problem.
Agreed. I wholeheartedly agree that the quality matters. I just think when you're talking from a platform standpoint, it's easier said than done to do that algorithmically and automate what is slop versus what's good content. Sometimes it also is subjective, right? Like, oh, I love this creator versus this, and sometimes it changes. Like I used to be a big fan of Lex Friedman. I don't know what changed. I can't even pinpoint what happened. But
he's boring.
I can't stand his stuff anymore. Like I just don't listen to it. In fact, he did have his most recent interview was the founder of OpenClaw, ClawBot, and I shared it because I saw the headline. It's still in my podcast feeds, but I'm not going to listen to it. I'm going to drop it in Notebook LM later and have it summarized. Take this 4 hour, and I used to even put up with the longer form content. It didn't used to bother me. I'd put it on 1.5 or 1.75x or 2x and I'm fine. But something happened at least where I don't enjoy his content anymore. And that's a me thing, right? There's obviously that he's a very successful creator. Some people love his content, but to your point, you find him boring. I went from enjoying his interviews to, I don't want to say cringe. It's not cringe, but I don't listen to it anymore. I'd rather and maybe it is, I don't know, maybe it is AI and this, as we move into a hyper efficient world, maybe part of that is I'm trying to unpack my brain here live on the show. Maybe there is something to be said for, even as part of the older generation. Even my brain is getting rotted over short form content, and I just I'm turned off when I see a 3 or 4 hour interview. I don't know. Real quick before I forget, because I thought I saw an abstract, it was actually YouTube. So for confusing everyone in the abstract chat, my apologies. Otis, where is the espresso claim? I was looking for the post. If you can drop in the chat the official link, I want to make sure, because I would like. I think I have a little bit to claim there with some other assets I held, but I wasn't able to find the claim link. So if you have a link and can drop it, that would be great. All that being said, on the topic of Infofy, on the topic of creators, before I go back to, I had Katie's post shared here a minute ago. I do see Steve out there as well. Steve, Diego was asking if you have a Xeet creator card. If you've claimed yours and have your ref links, Diego has specifically requested a Steve card as an FYI. And but Joey, go ahead and take it whichever direction you'd like, and then we'll keep things moving. Thomas, also thanking you for the pull out of the BZ Claw pull out of your pocket last week.
Oh yeah, it was his story is great. He pulled it and he swapped it, and then I guess he was doing it with, I can't remember if it was his daughter or his son, and pulled another one, and his child was like, yeah, let's keep that one. And that's the kind of stuff that's really exciting. But going back to what you're talking about with the collectible space real quick. So there's a company called Backyard Breaks. They're here in South Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And some of their financials, I guess, got out. So for reference on how big like the breaking and what they do is they do a lot of repacks, but they spent roughly 10 million on inventory just from Topps alone, and they're at the end of the year they did 275 million. So
when you say 10 million, like 10 million a week, a month, what are you?
No, for the year they spent 10 million on inventory for the year.
That's so. What's their revenue model? The math ain't mathing in my head. What is their?
Yeah, so their revenue model, it's really interesting. And so what they do is they host live streams on Whatnot and YouTube and etc. And they do something where, so let's say for example, they're a new set of football cards comes out. They'll have 32 slots. And then you buy a slot. So let's say it's $200 a slot. And then they start ripping packs for hours and hours and hours. And anytime a good card gets pulled, if you bought the Seahawks for $200, you get that card, right? So they do that. That's one of the things they do. They also do where the cards are already repacked. So some of the teams are more expensive. So like you'll buy the New England Patriots, for example, and that'll get you the New England Patriots, the Boston Celtics, the Boston Red Sox, the Boston Bruins, and they'll start ripping open repacks. Any of those 4 teams that appears is yours. And typically the New England Patriots are like a $550 spot, because if you get anything Tom Brady related or anything, Jason Tatum or whatever, there's a ton of value in that. Then they also just do you can just buy a box. Like you can literally just say, oh, you're in the middle of ripping boxes. I'll buy a box for $1,500, and they rip the box on stream.
So I'm following all that. Somewhat familiar. I'm familiar with the breaks, at least at the highest level. I still, the math isn't. I'm still struggling to figure out how they take 10 million worth of product and turn it into 275 million in revenues. But impressive. There's also there's these live retail stores that are opening. I actually talked with someone recently who's starting a family office. One of their first ventures is backing this. I'm drawing a blank. It's a European company that's coming to the States and opening like 3 or 4 retail locations and partnering with. Can't remember if this is one partnering with Mahomes and Kelsey and a few other athletes, and going to be doing basically these live breaks in the retail stores and using the social component as basically their marketing, their traffic driver, and that it's not going to surprise you. As someone who's very bullish on experiential retail, I think this is. I mean, it checks out. Like, it checks a lot of boxes in terms of like what I believe are not just sustainable, but businesses and an industry that can enter into a really hyper growth phase here. So again, big congrats on BZ and the success that continues. Excited to award a gold claw pull for our community member of the month, courtesy of BZ. And I do see Mr. Crypto Nest. I see you out there. I'm going to pull you up. I'm going to be very candid. Not taking shots. It appears, since we're talking InfoFi, or content, it is a good tie-in. I saw the follow. We've not yet connected, so this is blind. I'm just speaking to you, keeping it real. My first impression and second and third of your account is the account is just an InfoFi farming account. So if that's the case, that's okay. Still come up and join us. Please don't shill quacks or whatever InfoFi your campaign you're currently participating in. But I am curious your thoughts, and I hope you're a real human. So we'll get Mr. Crypto up here, Mr. Crypto Nest up here in a second. Might be a bot, might be a human. I hope you don't take offense. You probably can't hear as they're connecting right now, but still getting the spinning circle on my end. So I might have jinxed it with my direct, blunt introduction there. So we'll come back. Unless are you on stage, Mr. Crypto Nest? It's showing X is being all kinds of broken today. Looks like we lost you. You might have to take a lap, maybe leave the space and come back, and we'll try again. But it is, I don't know, as the perma optimist, maybe it is all just they have all these changes that are making behind the scenes, and it's just a matter of time before they fix everything and we get a full functioning X back. But if you missed it,
how many subscribers you out on YouTube right now?
Good question. Around, I think we're just shy of 300.
Okay, so how shy are you?
293, 7 shy of 300.
Okay, so whoever is the 300th subscriber, we'll give a claw pull away.
Hey, go.
So if you haven't subscribed yet, when we hit 300, because then people are going to wait till 299. So when you hit 300, so we need 7 subscribers. So when we hit 300, you can whatever, however you want to, post a screenshot. Yeah, here we do. So in the hit the purple pill in the bottom, post a screenshot. Cap will announce when he hits 300. Post a screenshot that you're a subscriber on YouTube, and then he can do a draw when he hits 300 subscribers for a $50 claw pull.
Look at that. The running hurts calling him Joey. I was trying to think of Joey Santa, but a better name without the constants. Only new or 300, one of those 300. Yeah, you don't have to be a brand new subscriber. Just we got to get to 300 before we pull the winner. So once we hit 300, we will pull a winner from one of the subs over there. Appreciate you, Joey. Thanks so much for the ongoing generosity. And on behalf of all of our listeners as well, they say thank you because people love a good claw pull. Coffee with Captain is all-time favorite segment here on the show. Otis, thank you for sharing the espresso link. I did pin that up top as well. If anyone wants to go check for your claims, the Espresso Foundation. I have no idea. I didn't even look at token. I have no idea what it's trading at, but it is live. And my understanding is they went pretty wide on who was able to claim that. So hey, we're up to 26 now in the video. So even though you can't discover it, some people are finding a way. I don't know where you're finding it, but it is out there in the wild somewhere, just not on my profile. And Brett, I'm not even sure if you saw this. Right before you popped into the show, I was using your account as an example because when Modern Market streams the video from your account, it almost always is north of 500. Usually it's like 600-700 or more. In this morning, like at 8:06, there was like 64 people. So no idea what's going on. I'm going to stop complaining about X, but it is what it is. We will continue to press on. And Joey is the Oprah of Coffee with Captain. There you go. Oprah, the Oprah of Coffee with Captain, getting repost from Devin from OpenSea. And I hope so. I think I might have scared off our maybe it was a bot. I scared off the bot that Mr. Crypto. Continuing the conversation though, and then we will. There is other topics we're going to hit on, some other headlines today. As always, if anyone wants to join the conversation, feel free to throw a request in to join us. If you're having issues coming up, would recommend first make sure you're on the most recent version of X. And if still having the issue, take a lap, leave the space, force close the app, come back, and we will attempt again. But it is it's doing X Spaces things today, so we'll get through it. But I appreciate everyone, and if you can't make it up, if all else fails, join the conversation in the chat. Let us know whatever questions, comments you might have. And the one comment I have, shout out Thomas welcoming all the new subs over on YouTube. Dillo ATX, welcome over there. And love to see it. Love to see the Joey Oprah gifts coming in. But on the topic of creators and InfoFi or InfoFi 2.0, we're gonna have to come up with a new name since InfoFi is already has the negative connotation, probably almost as bad as did NFTs. Shagrath in the chat dropped some Xeet creator cards. I'm gonna read Shagrath's post here. And then I saw Katie, teacher Katie, also dropped hers in the chat. I mentioned I have a few as well. Here's quoting Shagrath. After reviewing all the available info on the Xeet creator capital markets, here's my targeted approach as a certified creator. Card game, authentic amplification, and direct value exchange. Half my codes will go to fellow Xeet certified creators I already respect, follow closely, and engage with daily. The key aspect here is direct value exchange and strengthening already existing relationships. So I agree. And that's, how things should work. If you're communicating with people, you have relationships, you're going to engage with each other. Hopefully this sort of stuff keeps them in your timeline, your feed, and you can support each other. What I hope we don't see is the engagement groups. I don't know how they target it, but I do think that's part of what Nikita was looking to eliminate and nerf, and rightfully so, is this I think started probably with like Fantasy Top, where you just have a group of 50 people and it was just fake engagement. They were just engaging to pump each other's numbers. And again, probably a fine line between authentic, genuine support and engagement farming. But that's the challenge, right? That's the challenge for X. That's the challenge for revamped InfoFi. But I do agree that's authentic amplification, authentic being the keyword there. As far as direct value exchange. The second, he goes on to say, revamped InfoFi creator capital markets, onboarding and growth. The other half of my codes will target high signal creators I've collabed with before or see as strong fits who'd add real edge to Xeet if certified. Quality picks to strengthen the flywheel, guiding principle behind my strategy. No artificial engagement or squad pressure. Salute to that. Only people I'd interact with organically, build on real relationships while onboarding aligned new ones. Fuel Xeet's momentum, better creators, higher quality signal, thriving InfoFi markets, wins for all. If you're a creator delivering real value, comment below and I'll select a few. I'd love a card. Thanks again for sharing. I appreciate it. And as I mentioned, have a few cards we will give away today as well. If you haven't yet seen it, I will flash make sure I got it pulled up here. This is, so I think it was maybe 250. They were certified creators, got a card that you could claim yourself. So I claimed a rare one. And then you get 24 other cards to give away to someone else, as Shagrath just described. So I've got a couple that have been claimed. So I've got 22 remaining to give away. I'm curious, does anyone know, are all the referrals, are they all commons? I've only claimed one other card so far from Diego, and it was a common. I'm not complaining.
Yeah, they're all common.
They're all common.
So yeah, you're going to claim a rare of your own, and then the rest are common is what it looks like.
Got it.
I've only shared a few because it's kind of weird when Tolly had the video and Tolly was like, the only way that new people can get accepted as a certified creator is they have to hold a card from someone who's already certified. So it's like, should we be sharing all of our cards with all of our homies? or should we actually be trying to onboard more new people? And we had Tolly and Scotty and Pons on on MySpace, and we had asked them, because this was right around the time that Fantasy Top was kind of like not really sunsetting, but they quit doing their payouts and all that stuff. And he said that they were already looking at how Fantasy Top worked with these cards, but that once Fantasy Top changed their whole thing, that it brought them back to the drawing board.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I'm kind of hesitant to swap too many cards because I don't know if we're missing something and we haven't gotten all the information. Is it more beneficial for you to onboard new people rather than
Someone who already has
every?
I guess good question. I guess where my brain went is if someone has a card and they ask for one of mine, and they'd like I'm happy to do a card swap. To your point though, probably shouldn't, if the intent is, or the only way to become a certified creator is get one of these, basically get another card. I'm guessing they don't want, if everyone just did a swap with an existing certified creator, they're not onboarding any new users. So probably the best case or the best process would be splitting, doing both. I hadn't really given it that much thought, but you're right. Probably is worth thinking about a little bit of strategy here where we don't have all the information. There are basic packs, rare packs, legendary packs coming soon. What that entails, I don't know. My understanding is I think the basic packs might be free mints. I'm really curious, excited. I don't have any inside information, but I'm genuinely curious on how this plays out, and I'm rooting for it. I hope that this sticks. I hope that X doesn't nerf whatever does come out, and there's clearly a market for it, right? There's clearly a market for coordinating creators. I think InfoFi was on a good path. It just needed some tweaking, and I hope this is it. I don't know what it is. Joey, I'm going to hand you the mic, and then if you'd like to go back to Cheeses, I'm going to step away for a few seconds. I'm not going to put the coffee break on so it doesn't drown the both of you out. But go ahead, Joey, and then Cheeses. I'll be back here in like 30, 60 seconds.
Yeah, maybe Cheeses, you could explain it to me a little bit more, because I was always confused about. Like, I understood the InfoFi aspect of Xeet, but then there was like the whole not competition, but like, backing certain creators. So is this sort of kind of a like what we saw with Fantasy Top or not with these cards and like what is
with Fantasy Top?
Dead,
with Fantasy Top, right? Like if I held your card, if you had a card and I held your card and you were getting high impressions, basically, the more impressions you got, the more value that card had, depending on the rarity of it. And we've seen some monster sales. I mean, there was some sales of individual cards that were like 20, 30 ETH. They haven't given enough information. They said all of the information will be out next week. But it seems like the cards you have, you're not only me as a creator, say that Captain has his tournament going on there for the space or whatever he's doing it, or say there's a BZ one on there, and I'm number one, and people that hold my card say the prize for first place is $10,000. I think holders of the cards are also going to get a cut of the creator, wherever their rank is at the end of the tournament. So that could end up swaying a lot, So for instance, I was number one on the Myriad tournament on Xeet. And if these cards were out here, I got rewarded, I think it was like 100 or 200 million Myriad points. So people that held my card, whether you're a creator or not, based on the rarity of the card, maybe you're going to earn some of that first place prize. We don't know enough of the information yet. That's what it seemed like. It's the direction it's kind of heading, because one of the other things that, like, when I was talking to Tolly about it, I said, it'd be really cool if large creators had to kind of help amplify the smaller creators or help boost the smaller creators in a way where it's like a full circle thing. And it's not just the same PFPs winning all the time.
Yeah,
And we're going to see that though.
So again, it's a competition still, right? Like
100%.
So is it, it is different than Fantasy Top, but is it still in that same vein of like, you're going to, if you own specific cards, you're going to want to help boost those creators like we did with Fantasy Top, or like?
I would 100% say so, but here's the problem. And Pond said that they've had several meetings with X about their next iteration of Xeet and where it was headed in the first place, because they've always made the claim that they were never a just straight InfoFi brand, that they were using the original tournaments and things that they were doing, just like Kaido and Wall Chain and all that. They were doing that as kind of like a funding round, essentially. To get things going, kick things off, and make money, but also reward people. And he said that they had several conversations with X. I don't think they're going to be like scraping the API. And we were talking about this yesterday. Would me as a creator have to take my posts and put them into Xeet manually? And then how many people are actually going to go do that if that's the case? But they would still have to verify it in some way. I know they are 100% like trying to do this within the lines of X and, not have any issues. So
how would you do it without the API though?
I don't know. I mean, you would have to do it through some third-party service, which is even sketchier.
Well, so interestingly, Tolly's first thing he built was his drip bot.
Yeah.
Which was where you can set up campaigns in Discord where you would submit like.
Sorry, my bad. I'm trying to kill the audio.
I was like, is there a fourth person? I was like, is there a fourth person on stage?
It sounds like he's at a casino.
Yeah. So like Tolly's drip bot, like you could set up a campaign where like you would award points, right? For every time somebody would do something on X, and then they would have to submit that link, and then the bot would verify that you did what you were supposed to, right? Like you mentioned something, et cetera, et cetera. Now that would be a crazy way to have all these influencers like have to submit what they're doing to get credit or points or whatever. Like if there was an external bot, I just don't know how like from a scalable, like how you would scale this without being able to access APIs. Like,
I mean, it would be, unfortunately, it'd be a rather clunky manual process. And to Cheese's point, if that's it, if you had to, copy paste every post, maybe. I just don't know how.
I don't think a lot of bigger, not to say they're above it or whatever. I just think some people won't even go do that.
I agree.
And so it opens the door for smaller creators. It opens, if that's the case, we still don't know yet. And the way that he talked about it in the video of being able to buy other packs in the coming weeks with your actual Xeets, that's really interesting because now it's given a value to the Xeets.
Mm-hmm.
But they've also, mentioned in, without saying it, that Xeets are going to end up, being an airdrop as well.
Hey, not to interrupt, but real quick, I am super busy at work. Just on the Tolly's drip bot thing, that also got taken down in this whole InfoFi purge. It wasn't that you submitted your own thing. It's that it gave you a button to click that took you directly to the tweet that you were to engage with. You were to like and comment, and then you came back and you hit a verify button. That also was using the API. So they actually shut that down. That's actually not active in the bearish Discord right now.
So, and that was separate from Xeet, right? That was separate from the InfoFi nerfing. They nerfed that just for different reasons. Or
bro, Drip was in over like 10,000 Discords. Like that was their flagship product.
Wow.
It was Drip was a massive. I guarantee you all the Discords you're in right now, I guarantee you over 50% of them had some type of drip system in there. You just didn't even know it or even participate in it.
Yeah, that's man, I really do feel for these like I've had a meeting, maybe two, with Tully. I don't know him like personally, but everything I like, good creator, good builder, like keeps pushing forward, keeps
super nice guy, man.
Super nice guy, remarkably handsome, keeps pivoting and but just like I can't imagine how frustrating it must be for those that are building, leveraging X, keeping people on X as opposed to going and trying to build their own new platform, and then to have the whole thing just pulled out from under them. Just really tough, massive. Because I do think it's the right way. I don't think people should go, spin up other social platforms or other, like I was never a fan of Farcaster for that. It's like, go where the people are. People are on X. I don't want another social feed.
Yeah.
I like what they're attempting to do here. It's just they do have to essentially get X's blessing and sign off on it. Otherwise, it's probably not going to last, unfortunately.
And it really sucks because Drip was a safe way for communities to engage, to build, to help social channels grow, to spotlight community members. Like Drip was a really, really good platform. And I hope they can get all that worked out where it's, something that X will allow to, come back. Who knows? But these guys, one thing is like most of the apps on Abstract, Tully and Scotty and the Bears team have had their hands in. They've either helped bring the market, and there's brands that are on ETH and Base and other chains that these guys have helped either build their product or develop. Like they are nonstop heads down. I think he's coming on my space at 11. I'm not 100% sure. Tully is.
Tully?
Yeah. So I commented yesterday, and he said he'd love to come on. So let's see if we can get him back on and hopefully get some more answers, and then I can come back and kind of fill you in because, like, if you have Xeets and that's potentially going to be an airdrop, would you take the short-term gain or like the immediate value there and just start buying legendary packs, rare packs with your Xeets rather than speculating and waiting for a potential airdrop? What would you end up doing?
I mean,
Xeets are hard to get.
Yeah, they are.
And now you're about to have more people coming in because everybody wants these cards. Everybody's going to be trying to get more Xeets, and there's only so many Xeets a day.
So I'm rapidly I'm rapidly ripping packs over here. Shout out Oxy. One of these days I'll figure out how to
your people,
how to mute
squad.
The back. I still see the background. I know it's totally speaking in the video. I just don't know where it's coming from. But I just had to get through that before it shut.
I think it opens a new tab every time. Yeah. You just have to mute the tab, and then it'll mute all new tabs. It should.
Yeah, I finally found the mute button on that specific page. But I guess to answer your question, I would probably do both. Like I wouldn't want to spend all my Xeets, but I do plan to collect some of these packs. And
yeah,
I conceptually, I love it. Ethos, we talked about Ethos and their white paper on the new season. They're doing something similar where I don't know if they've said or even alluded to a future TGE or future token. I believe there's probably one at some point in the future. I want to continue to rack up Ethos XP and grow on that platform. I'm not farming it. I'm not completing the daily tasks, which I should be doing. But what they just introduced is every action now you gotta spend your Ethos, your XP basically. So it's like the more game theory in crypto, more game theory on chain.
Yeah,
this stuff I'm here for. I don't want it to be just go click buttons. And if you click the button, you get your airdrop, big or little. Like, make us think about it a little bit. Make a decision. Like, okay, do I go buy this thing, which could be something I sell the pack or an NFT for later, or do I keep my stuff? Like, do I keep the points? Do I keep the XP? Do I keep the Xeets? Like, this to me is a better path than just go farm a bunch of points and then that's going to tie directly to your airdrop allocation. Make it spend those points like that. That to me is better alignment and more of a quote unquote flywheel per se for actual. Now, the flip side, you can say, well, that's going to limit activity on their site. Less people are going to buy the thing. Less people are going to slash people or leave reviews if it's going to cost them their points. To which I say, okay, like that's probably the easiest way to help mitigate against AI slop and farmers and bots. Like make some.
You already have to use ETH, don't you? Don't you have to use ETH to like stake to?
Only if you're under a certain score. Under a certain score, you have to pay ETH.
Oh, good.
Well, no, you only pay. I thought you only pay ETH if you're gonna what do they call it? When you vouch for somebody, right? So like if you just want to write a review or like upvote and stuff like that, it used to be it didn't cost you anything. Once you reached a certain amount of points, they covered all your gas and your transactions. So you could leave reviews, you could upvote, you could downvote, you can do all those daily tasks. That didn't cost anything. The only thing that would cost ETH would be when you would vouch for people. And the vouching was like, essentially like put your money where your mouth is, right? Like you would deposit ETH onto somebody's card or whatever. But I guess now, can you still, Caps, are you saying now if you want to leave a review on Ethos, you have to spend your Ethos points to leave a review? Or is it only for when you do big things like slashing and stuff like that?
I think every action, we need to get Serpent on and do the deeper dive. I don't want to misspeak. And I need to drop the entire white paper in Notebook LM and have it summarized for me because I did not read the whole thing, just the headlines and scanned it. But my understanding is, every action on Ethos now requires XP. Now it might be like 1 XP. I haven't, again, I need to spend some more time on to actually read the paper or have someone summarize it for me. But my understanding is every single action, whether it's slashing and I'm guessing it's probably, if you're going to slash someone, it might be more XP than just leaving a review. But my understanding is every action requires some sort of XP spend. And I think it's good. Again, force decisions, make people question if they just want to click buttons, put some game theory to it. I'd like to see more of this.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do there with the packs themselves. Because like I said, the Xeets are so hard to get. Like, how many Xeets do you have right now?
Myself? Not a ton. I've not like 2,600-ish.
Okay.
So I'm sure you probably got more than that just on the Myriad tournament alone, I'm guessing.
I have like a little bit over 20. I have like 23,500.
Yeah, mine's 2,651. I'm not complaining. I've not farmed it at all. I've not really leaned into any.
So you would spend all those on packs if you were able to?
Probably so. Partially thinking because I don't have that many. I don't think 2,600 is going to lead to a huge airdrop. So I probably would spend them on packs, thinking there's maybe a better chance I pull a legendary or pull something in a pack that's more valuable than any potential token claim I might get from keeping them as Xeets.
Yeah. What's interesting is the pack inclusion. Did you see this?
Mm-mm.
So get your cards included in all standard pack purchases across the platform. Earn royalties every time a card is traded and unlock access to large tournament rewards like pre-TGE tokens and stablecoins. That says coming soon. So
that's pretty awesome.
I mean, how, again, and I don't mean to be the dead horse, but how is this just not rewrapped Fantasy Top? Is it? Or am I just not understanding?
It very well could be, but the problem is it didn't Fantasy Top stop their creator payouts? Didn't they stop all the rewards?
Well, I think Fantasy Top is they're out now, right?
Yeah.
Full on left. But I think part of, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think part of Fantasy Top was the demise of Blast, because I heard a lot of what they did. But up until recently, I thought people were still playing Fantasy Top.
They were. It wasn't just Blast. They ported. I think it's on Base now, right?
They went to Monad,
and then Base.
Because I was doing it on Monad and Blast, and then they went to Base.
But I think the problem was they brought in a bunch of revenue. I think they even raised a significant amount of funds, promised more rewards, basically said this, like kind of laid out a roadmap, and then essentially like it's still, I think it's still live, but they basically, instead of like increasing the rewards, they went backwards and said there's no airdrop coming. Those fantasy points that you've been accumulating are worthless. And they essentially, at that point, they just killed the platform. Most people, stopped caring. I think there's probably still some activity, but nothing like it was at their peak. So to the point, like there was a market, there was people interested, there was volume and activity that's been proven out. Now, I don't want to say this isn't rewrapped Fantasy Top or wrapped Fantasy Top. Hopefully it's evolved. Hopefully it's better. Hopefully it's different. And they take some elements that worked and eliminate some of the things that didn't work. I like Shagrath said earlier, like the pump groups that they were just there for essentially just to pump people, this is really hard. I can't even think about how you would do it to keep stuff authentic and eliminate that sort of stuff. If there's incentives, especially in crypto, it's going to attract farmers, shillers, engagement groups.
That's only if they're scraping the API. I don't know how they're going to verify anything without having to use X's API. That's where my loss is at. It's like,
but that's also the part that's confusing too. Like if you were saying how they were having conversations about how they're not InfoFi, but it's the whole point of backing a creator is because they get like impressions and their content goes viral. How is it not InfoFi, right? Like the person has to be producing some type of information to get those impressions. Maybe it's because they're not rewarding them for the specific information. It's not InfoFi, but like to me, it's still this still even like the card game still falls under InfoFi.
It's not that they're saying they're not InfoFi or weren't InfoFi. I think it's more like that's not all they are, right? Like I think they were looking to take the concept of at its core, before all the slop, InfoFi made sense. Like InfoFi was obviously look at all the brands that shifted their marketing budgets from traditional marketing, from KOL campaigns to a lot of them went all in on InfoFi and those leaderboards. I think there was big opportunities there because the leaderboard itself wasn't enough. I think Xeet in particular was planning on introducing some new elements like they are, but yet, and again, that they had to make changes due to the APIs all getting nerfed. So yes, I think I'm also saying like I think that like because it's got such a poor reputation and is been excommunicated from X, that they need to call it something different. So even if they're building upon or evolving InfoFi, like I almost put like InfoFi 2.0 in the title, and I don't want to do that because the space will probably even get more nerfed than it already is. So yeah, I think yes, some sort of iteration or evolved in InfoFi, but not just InfoFi, not just what we know. Like a lot of people think InfoFi was just a leaderboard, and you talk about a brand, you use some keywords, you get up the leaderboard, and you get a TG or you get tokens. There's more can be done than that. And if you think about it, like InfoFi itself really wasn't really descriptive of what it became. It was more like crowdsourced marketing fi, but that obviously doesn't roll off the tongue. Yeah, and Kaido is taking the information that they've captured and the reach they have and doing something else with it. They're going the Polymarket route. They just recently announced that Polymarket partnership. But
yeah, Joey, I the way I'm looking at it is that when you were doing Fantasy Top, by holding the cards were the only way to get return value, right? And then you earned some other in-game stuff that allowed you to rip more packs. You
participated in tournaments. You would they had different
you would
tournaments.
Pick your lineup, right?
Yeah, you would set your lineup. They had like 1-star tournaments and 5-star tournaments, and you could only have a maximum of
so many stars.
Right? So you would set your lineups, and then based on how your lineups performed, you were then awarded, I think they had there was like a bunch of different ways you got rewarded, right? Like they had their points and stars, but then you could also just win straight like money from the pot, I believe, for placing at the top. And then there was also the whole secondary market where people were, they were using their stars or their points to open up new packs to hopefully reveal like a 3-star or a 4-star. And then they would sell those cards. And then there were people pumping cards because, like Cap said, there would be like this little cabal of like, hey, I'm a 5, I only, my 5-star cards are only worth $1, but we're all gonna pump me, and then my card's gonna go up in price. Then we're gonna all sell my card. Like there was all kinds of stuff going on.
Yeah, it was like daily fantasy sports meets content creators. Like there was a lot there. By the way, I think we are. I just saw Tim post in the chat. We're at 299. I'll go double check. We might have hit 300 subs, Joey. So get that. We're gonna do the same as last time. You're just gonna directly send the winner a claw pool pass.
Yeah. So if you announce the winner here, you can just like maybe tag them in a post, tag me and them in a post, so I can see that which X is actually their X, so nobody tries to sneak in, and then I'll send them a call pull directly.
Awesome. Appreciate you doing that. 299. One more to go. Diablito adds, InfoFi turns my timeline into an infomercial channel. We don't pay premium to avoid ads. I got enough InfoFi time smoking weed after bartending in the university. This is the other, like, why I think paid promo button would be helpful is so that the premium users who are paying to not see ads, they also don't have to see those paid advertisements. I understand that hurts the reach of those creators. That hurts the reach of those brands that are paying for the promotions. I get all that. I just, at the end of the day, you got to look at it from X's perspective.
But you're talking about like a voluntary button, right? Like correct. I would have to voluntarily click that button.
Correct.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. Most people still won't even click the damn button.
But you can mute people already. I mean, I say this all the time, and I said this a lot after InfoFi got nuked, but it's actually not that hard to manage your algorithm. Like, if there's a bunch of creators spamming an InfoFi tournament all the time, like, just mute them, Like, I don't know what to tell.
So let me ask you this, idiot. Do you is it if they're spamming, or if you see, they talked about something that has an InfoFi campaign, you're muting those people as well just because they participated?
It depends. Look, for me, I was the participant on Xeet, but only in selective tournaments that I actually cared about. Like we had World of Women on our space, so I was tweeting about World of Women. I wasn't tweeting 9 times a day about it.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of the Bearish team, right? I own a lot of Bearish NFTs. I would tweet about Bearish anyway. When they had their tournament, I was tweeting once a day about Bearish, right? So like, if you're following me and you're seeing me tweet about things that I'm actually engaging with organically, then, like mute me or not, I wouldn't mute that account though, right? But if I see somebody like tweeting 9 times a day about something and there are tweets about that said something coincides with the start date of the tournament and then at the end date they rotate to another tournament, yeah, that's just somebody spamming the timeline to try to get Xeets or Kaido Yaps or whatever, and I'm muting that person. It's just, for me personally, I find it very easy to manage my algorithm, and I think a lot of people struggle with that. I think a lot of people fall victim to their like emotions. They argue with people about politics on the timeline, and then all of a sudden their timeline is more politics that they hate or whatever. And it's just like, I don't know. It's just not that hard to be aware and manage your algorithm. But originally I did come up. I just wanted to say, even when they were scraping the API, Xeet, that is, they had their own way of going about slashing people and removing people from the platform that were, in 3x3 groups or botting their engagement. They had their own AIs looking for that kind of stuff. They had a reporting system. They actually did a lot more than most of these other platforms did to try to mitigate that. And yeah. Oh, and Joey, you were saying, what's the difference between this and Fantasy Top? The card game, it's hard to say because we don't know all the rules yet, right? But the platform overall is meant to, like, this was just the first wave of certified creators. The platform overall is meant to iterate to a point where more and more people get to participate as they move forward. So it won't just be like the top 200 KOLs or whatever it was on Fantasy Top, right? There was only so many cards to be had. I get the impression from listening to these guys talk that this will continue to expand and give opportunity to more and more even smaller creators. Anyway.
No, I think all valid, great stuff. And I think I know it's not this simple, but would a solution potentially be limiting the quantity? Like you're not getting credit for anything more than one a day or one a week, or like it put the pressure on. If you're going to post about something that's in a contest or in a campaign, you get credit for one post a day, one post a week. And if you post,
I think that'd be a great thing to do. The problem is people will still try to bot their stuff, right? But they, like I said, I mean, they have a way of looking out for that kind of stuff too. And the people in these tournaments they're competing with each other too. People are watching each other on these leaderboards as well. So just the reporting system in general, paired with what you just said, I think is, along with an AI that keeps an eye out for, AI generated type of slop. Like there's several different things that could be put into place to really help things become, more organic and less spammy.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris, I just seen a message from Scotty on the timeline. Another Chris said, I got almost 15,000 Xeets to blow in premium packs. Does this mean no TGE, or should I save them for a potential TGE? And Scotty replied, said, we won't TGE unless this model proves to be something.
Okay.
But in the meanwhile, we will build up the platform, allow people to use Xeets, and not spend realized monies for now.
Okay. Respect. I like it. Again, I don't know exactly how this plays out. I don't even know exactly what what they're doing or what the plan is. I'm rooting for it. I think while Fantasy Top was maybe controversial, clearly proved to market. It was one of the more successful dApps, especially think about all the success they had, even post Blast imploding. Like before they went to Monad and Base, like Fantasy Top was like probably other than people just farming stables over there, because Blast was paying out some good yield on stables. Probably the only thing that was having any sort of volume or traction on, like, it was Fantasy Top was keeping the lights on at Blast. So there was definitely something there. It's just really challenging to once you incorporate incentives, it could just I don't want to say it ruins things. It can ruin things. It just brings in, I hate calling them bad actors as well. Like, hey, if you're a farmer, more power to you. You've heard a lot of people, everyone on this stage, like we're muting you. If you post 9 times about a thing that you don't know anything about, you're just posting about it because it's part of a campaign, you're getting muted. And the timeline has cleaned up a lot since they killed the InfoFi API. So I hope they're able to thread the needle here. I'll definitely be following along. We will see if we can get Tully and or Pawns on the show here to do a deeper dive. Before I forget, Jesus, if you got a link for your space at 11, please drop that up above. I've got a meeting at 11:30, but I might be able to tune in for a bit, and would love to, at least we can do for you, adding value to the conversation today. At least we do support your show. So yeah, please do drop that up top. Hard pivot here though, shifting gears. I saw this data point today, and really, actually, before I pivot, Otis InfoFi platforms rewarding actual product users, like ApeCoin banner campaigns were collateral damage in a CSLF. I do agree. It's the other thing I would like to see is don't just reward what people are saying on the timeline. We have the data. You by now, most of these platforms, they've connected not just their socials, but also wallets. Like, are they using your platform or the platform they're talking about? Did they have any, not even talking, it doesn't have to be a ton of capital, but are they using it? Are they actually a real user? Do they hold assets? I know Moonbirds did this with Kaido. Didn't work out for me, even though I was like a top 20 person on that leaderboard. It didn't result into, by the way, Burb TGE, the game season 1 ended. You can go claim or replay the game. I'm not going to go there, but for those that are keeping score at home, the market makers are still protecting that 200 million floor. So not sure how long that lasts, but if you'd like to claim and sell your Burb, probably rips up again. They probably get another pump, even though there's still just 14,700 holders. Wouldn't be surprised to see another pump. But yeah, the concept of making it an and, not an or, like you're going to get rewarded or multipliers if you hold assets, if you're using the protocol, that I think is kind of the sweet spot. So hoping
that was actually there. That was I got quite the bonus for holding bearish NFTs while doing the bearish tournament. I will say, and maybe we don't quite align on this, I don't think you should have to hold or have ever touched the platform to tweet about it, as long as you're not just spamming and cheating with botted engagement. I think the point of InfoFi is to incentivize big KOLs to talk about your thing and get more eyes on your thing. So I would rather have the big KOL that never touched my product tweet if I've paid for a tournament than only people that are already a part of my community. Because the people in my community, they're already interacting with each other all the time. You know what I mean?
I agree. I just to be clear, I don't think you should have to. I do like the idea of it being not like to where the KOLs aren't going to participate if they're not holding assets or not using the platform. But I would like it to be like at least a nominal multiplier, like a little bit of a bonus.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I think it's great to give the benefit in some of these tournaments to your existing community. And it's kind of up to the person who sets up the tournament to set that up, but the options are there. And I saw it used several times. I saw it in the World of Women tournament, like I said, and the Bearish tournament, which were primarily the two that I engaged with. And I even went out and bought a World of Women Galaxy just to get the extra benefit. And if you were holding their WoW strategy token, you got some benefit there. And then, holding Bearish NFTs helped me a lot with the Bearish tournament. So yeah, those options are there or were there. And it's just kind of up to the person paying for the tournament to take control of those options.
I love it. And this is like, and I know we're not, we can share feedback. We're not the decision makers. We're not, to my knowledge, none of us are building out these platforms. I can certainly appreciate how challenging it must be for all the things we just discussed. I do think, like, man, it feels like we're getting close. Like I can see the vision of what an end state or an evolved state might look like, where brands are happy, creators are happy, the platforms are happy, and X isn't up in an uproar. It's just, quality matters. And like what you just described, that's a win for World of Women, right? They got you talking about their campaign, got you talking about it, and joined the community. Like that I think is the best case scenario, where it's not forced, but there is incentives, there is perks, and hey, hopefully, even if there's no perks, if people start talking about it, they learn about the platforms, they end up wanting to participate. They end up wanting to use the DeFi protocol. Joey, we did just get, I know we said didn't have to be number 300, but if you don't object, Eddie Crypto just dropped the screenshot in the chat, subscribed, and we hit 300 over there. So if you don't object, I would like to go ahead and reward Eddie with a claw pull. Eddie Crypto OX. It's in the chat there. I'll pin it up top so you can make sure you see who to send that to. But Eddie, thank you very much.
It's your world. Works for me.
Eddie, thank you very much. Appreciate the sub, and appreciate you sharing. Appreciate everyone, all 300 of you over there. We made up some nice ground today in our trek to 500 subs on YouTube. Greatly appreciated. That's pinned up top as well. Scroll in one from the left. You'll see Jesus's post on the space coming up here at 11 a.m. Eastern, talking Xeet Creator Card, Xeet Capital Markets. So don't go anywhere, but if you want to continue the Xeet Creator Card conversation, join Jesus' space here at 11 o'clock, and they'll keep the convo going. But again, congrats to Eddie Crypto. Thank you very much. And thank you to all 300 subs over there. More coming soon. Like I've mentioned a few times, as soon as we hit 500 over there, it unlocks some new features and things we're looking to implement to the show. I hope you all like, and we're 2/3 of the way there. So thanks again. Greatly appreciated. Since I'm shilling our own stuff, if you've not yet hit our newsletter, would appreciate that as well. Just go to coffeewithcaptain.com. We don't spam you, but you will get the weekly update. That'll be on Saturday mornings when that typically goes out. The Epic ads, I like people being rewarded. Community members should win. It becomes transparent what KOL's motivation is. Agreed. I also would say not all KOLs are bad. They don't have malicious intentions. Do some only shill things they get paid to shill, and they're just a walking billboard? Yeah, to each their own. I'm not going to hate the game or the player, but it's tough, right? There's a fine line. We were having the conversation, Payne and I, yesterday, day before yesterday. We've got some new sponsors, some new campaigns are going to be kicking off here soon, and in talks with some others, and we're like, what is the fine line? Like, this show is going to remain authentic. We're going to talk about trending topics, news of the day, markets, builders, products, culture. We want it to remain authentic, and if we don't want to look like a NASCAR jersey, right? We don't want everything we talk about or every segment being sponsored. So while we love our sponsors, we're grateful for those partnerships. It is a fine line in terms of how much is, and often when we do a sponsored segment, it's a sponsored segment that it's not shilling the sponsor. It's some brand awareness for them. And maybe there's some sort of call to action, but really it's like, I can liken back to the more you know. We partnered with ENS for a year and a half, and we had ENS on the show for a sponsored interview. We did talk about them a few times during that more you know, but I'd say 90% or more of those more you knows, it was a relevant topic that day. It was a trending topic, something in the news, something we were talking about on the show. We just did a deeper dive that, oh, by the way, that was brought to you by ENS, and go to ens.domains to grab yours. Something as simple as like that. So, it is a, Otis says symbiosis, talking about Tesla leans heavy on user experience posts, especially with recent reactions to the success of full self-driving. I haven't thought about this consciously, but Tesla might have pulled off one of the best user-generated content campaigns of all time recently with their full self-driving. And it wasn't, I don't even think it was actually a directive or an actual campaign. But I say that because it was truly organic. You saw, for a while, like almost, especially when the 14 the full self-driving 14 went live, I was seeing like some cool new full self-driving video in my feed almost daily. And for a brand that, correct me if I'm wrong, if anyone knows, I don't think you've seen any Tesla commercials. I don't think they've done any paid advertising. And I know this isn't uncommon for car brands like Ferrari and Lamborghini don't have commercials. It's, that's part of the, luxury premium product, but for Tesla being more of a mass market product, not, it's not a $250,000 vehicle, to have, the Model Y has been the number one car in the world, 2-3 years running. I don't think do they do ads? Am I wrong here, Joey? Do you know? I don't think they do ads. If not, it's not many.
I don't watch. I don't watch live TV anymore, so I don't know if they run like TV spots. But I can tell you on social media, I never see Tesla ads on like my Instagram or Facebook. Occasionally I get like emails from them because, once you sign up, like once you register your vehicle, I'll get like, hey, we're running a special on APRs and whatever. And I get that stuff via email, but I never see Tesla ads on social media ever.
Agreed. I don't either. I also don't watch news. So, it is what it is. Joey, make sure, just a reminder, I pinned up, make sure you see Eddie's post up top and connect with him. I DM him, let him know that that you'll get him.
Yeah, I just gave him a follow. I'm going to send him a DM now.
Okay. A few other things we do got to talk about. We're going to talk about Pingu Card briefly. If you've not yet seen that ref link is also up top. Scroll into, it just says Pingu Card application ref link. I'm just shilling all the personal stuff today. This is my info 5.
Bro, do you see the top? Like the top person has already like 580 referrals. It's like, how in the fuck did he get that many referrals?
Info 5 bots.
Jesus Christ.
I kid, but I kid, but I'm serious. Like how they got it is some sort of bot farming. I have a hard time believing that. This thing just came out yesterday afternoon at 1:18. It's not even been 24 hours. And I don't like, you can have an email database, an email list of 1 million people. I don't think if you send out an email blast, I don't think you're getting 580 subs off of an email blast in this period of time. Maybe I'm wrong.
No. And I wonder if they're not going to do anything with that, but go through and verify. But I was like, is it worth it to spend like $20 on a promotion and reach, 10,000 people on X with it and just to see what happens?
I mean, I've spent $20 on worse things. Here, if you missed it, here's the details. I actually am pretty excited about this. I'm not. Do I get some sort of credit from if you hit the ref link? Yeah, but I don't really care. If you just want to go directly, it doesn't. I won't take any offense. I am genuinely impressed. So we don't know what exactly the 12% rewards are. It could be 12% discount on a Pudgy Penguin plushie or toy. I doubt it'll be that. I'm guessing it's probably some sort of combination of maybe some cash back, some rewards. But 12% is aggressive. It's in partnership with Cast, K-A-S-T, who is a more than a card, your global money app, cast.xyz. Big, and you can see they've even got the Pingu card in their bio. So this is a big launch for them. They are established. It is, I thought I saw another thread on Cast themselves and then the other partner they're working with here. But let me go back. So you join a wait list, get a free card. It's a Visa card. I'm assuming it's, debit card-esque where you'll be able to spend your Pingu or your ETH or your Bitcoin, potentially load it with stables or some sort of fiat. I don't believe it is I don't believe it's a credit card, rather a debit card or a spending card or sorry if I'm getting the verbiage wrong, but since they partnered with Visa on it, you got all the Visa merchants, so 150 million plus merchants. It's available worldwide. And when I think about, for a while, as soon as I saw these cards popping on the scene in crypto, I was like, wow, that'd be great utility for one of these NFT brands. Thomas, I believe it's a prepaid card is my guess. The way they're promoting it is free app apply. I would be shocked because, by the way, when you apply, you're just putting in your email. There's no credit application, at least not yet. Maybe they do launch a credit card. Maybe that's like phase 2. But my guess is it's a prepaid card, which is fine. It's like those have found product market fit. There's a lot of people. I don't know where my wallet is, but I use the Coinbase card. I keep stables. I'd rather keep stables on Coinbase and earn 3.5% on those stables, and use that Coinbase debit card as opposed to taking the stables off, put them in my fiat checking account, which earns 0 interest. So I do also play the credit card points game and pay it down, like et cetera, but I still have, a cash spending account. Like I don't put everything. I probably should put more strategy to my spending, but I'll use them from time. I think I've earned over, with the price of ETH, it might be over an ETH now in Coinbase rewards over the last several years that I've had that card. But yeah, kind of like the Coinbase card where it's prepaid, whatever funds you have. Now, what I would love to see one of these cards do, and I don't believe we've seen this yet, is I don't want to spend my funds, like stable, sure, but let me put a Bitcoin in the card, use that as collateral, and let me borrow against that collateral. But do it all. I don't have to go, even a smart contract, not have to go agree to 90-day terms at 10% interest. Like let me just spend, essentially use digital assets, use crypto as collateral. You can't use 100% loan to value, but let's say you put a Bitcoin in there, and I better check. I think it's still above 60K. Maybe you get 50% loan to value. And
you can borrow against your Bitcoin on Coinbase.
But I don't think is it baked into the card yet? I don't think it is.
No, but like on Coinbase, I know they offer USDC loans, like up to $5 million against your Bitcoin holdings. But I don't think it's to your point. Yes, I don't think it's connected to the card yet.
But to your point, you could do that manually today. You could borrow against your Bitcoin, keep that USDC on Coinbase. On your card, the funds you're paying with is your USDC. So yeah, theoretically.
Well, no. What you would do is you would get the Coinbase credit card. You would hold all your money in stables on Coinbase, earn that 3%, but you would get the Coinbase credit card, earn And let's say you had, so I think the threshold is 15K or 10K, I can't remember, to get 2.5% back in Bitcoin. So what you would do is you put your stables on Coinbase, whatever it is, 20, 50,000 in USDC, right? The more you put on there, the more you earn. Because the next, I think after 2.5%, it goes to like 3% or something, right? So you put your USDC on Coinbase, earn your 3% yield, and then you would use your Coinbase credit card to earn 2.5% or 3% in Bitcoin back. And then when you need to make payments on that credit card, you could make it in just fiat if you wanted, or you could make it from your 3%, you would make it from your stables to pay off your credit card. So then you're earning 3% on your stables and you're earning 3% back in Bitcoin for using their credit card.
Yes, and so yes, it's possible today. I just think we're like maybe an iteration or two away from it being near seamless. And that's where I think a lot of these cards might head is that's your, instead of an unsecured credit card that you're
What's
paying.
up, everyone? Totally here.
Oh, I think
he just forgot to mute himself.
I think Jesus.
So as a
Yeah, I'm over here collecting cards. Sorry, bro.
No worries. As soon as I heard totally as well, oh yeah, Jesus is claiming some of those creator cards as well. So perfect. You got me like a good segue here to give Be Epic a shout out. Speaking of all this, talking ads and paid promos, and going back to that real quick, and then we'll continue on the the card conversation. It says you're running a show. I never feel like we're being hit over the head with sponsorship deals. I am mostly commenting on posts on the timeline. I assume most things I see are motivated by money. I really do appreciate the kind words. That is cool. We've played a long game and we'll continue to do so here by remaining authentic, and we're selective of our partners. We've turned down a lot of money because we don't want to talk about things that we have no interest in, or we're only talking about it because we get paid. It's something we care about. And further, what it allows us to do is, Beezy's a great example. Beezy's been a partner of ours. They've sponsored Coffee with Captain. Today, that one Eddie Crypto got wasn't for Beezy. It was just Joey doing, he works for Beezy, but it's just, he's being generous and hooking some people up, helped us get to 300 subs. So we appreciate all that. But my point being is, because we like Beezy, we believe in the platform, we love the team, we were grateful for a partnership, grateful for a sponsorship. And because it's something we genuinely believe in, anytime collectibles get brought up, anytime TCGs get brought up, anytime, especially if someone's talking about collectibles on chain or claw pulls or something like that mechanic, we're going to talk about Beezy authentically, genuinely talk about it, because it makes sense. It fits in the conversation we're having. We can do that not being paid to do so, but yet it's added value to those partners, added value to those sponsors. And I alluded to, we got a meeting today, and the next two sponsors we're going to introduce on the show, same thing. We can't promise this. We don't put this in any sort of contractual agreement. But I mean, Steve would go, like, he was doing a talk at Stanford or Harvard. Almost always he talked about one of our former or current sponsors, not because he had to, not because he was paid to do so, because it was a brand we believed in. It was a brand that supported us. And so if we ever had the opportunity to support them in kind, we would do so above and beyond our contractual commitments, because it's an authentic, it's something we actually believe in. It's not, we're talking about it because we believe in it. The paid sponsorship is a boost. It's like a nice bonus, but it's not the only reason why we're talking about them. Now, if it's a reoccurring segment or campaign, and we do like that exact moment, but by being selective and partnering with brands we believe in, it does enable us to continue to add value far beyond that sponsorship ending, because it's something we care about and it makes sense. Thomas added, that would be a good idea, kind of like taking a loan out of your 401k. You're paying back with your own money. Yeah, this stuff exists. I guess kind of where I'm at, I was having a conversation with my very successful, high net worth friends yesterday, and we were talking about. He said banks. He's like, I hate banks, but unfortunately we need them. When in referring to lending, where we own a property together, and I think we're going to do a refi soon and pull out some capital and parlay it into another property. Today, yes, we do. And I go, yes, today you're right. We need banks. And he knows I'm deep in crypto. And I said, but I do believe like we're heading down a world where we won't in the future, or may not. At least we'll have other options. And I talked about stable coins, and I talked about, this Clarity Act, the Digital Act, and where they're heading with that. And, that the banks are pushing back on yield and rewards on stable coins, which is dumb. The only logical reason is because they're afraid that they're going to lose market share. And instead of making banks compete and offer better value to their users, they're trying to restrict by overarching regulation. Where I'm going with that is I asked him, I go, so he's also a Tesla fan. And I said, listen, if we want to go pull some liquidity out of our cars, you've got 2 Teslas that are paid off. How would you do that today? It's like, well, I guess I could go get a bank loan and go, jump through all the hoops and provide all the documentations, and it would only be a portion of what its current value, because those things do depreciate, any vehicle does. I'm like, yeah, it's like your options today. If you want to pull liquidity out, like people could think, oh, I'm going to go get a home equity line of credit. True. What about your other assets? What about your cars, your watches, your collectibles? People,
your $1 million collectibles.
Yeah, any assets. It's very difficult today to tap into that equity. And there's other reasons. There's tax benefits to tap into equity by way of a loan as opposed to selling something. It's just very difficult. RWAs on chain unlocks all that, or has the potential to unlock all that. And I do think, I don't know if it's 2026, 2027, 2035, but at some point in the future, I do believe you'll be able to take your car title or your home deed, authenticate it on chain, create an RWA out of it, and have a lot of options, whether it's these neobanks or something else we haven't even seen spun up yet, and tap into your equity, pull liquidity out of those assets that you own in a very frictionless way. That's and not having to pay, you not have to go pay pawn shop or loan shark rates, because that, the options are so limited today. So I'm really excited for that future. And if you think about it, like, after that, not only is available, but once it hits critical mass and everyone is aware of it, could people make bad decisions? Yeah, they make bad decisions today. They having a credit card you're paying 20% interest rate on it is a bad decision. Imagine someone they own their house, they own their cars, but they have bad credit and they don't want to go pay 28% interest on a credit card, and they have a family emergency, they have a medical emergency, or just the roof gets a hole in it. They need to replace the roof. Today, the options suck. Other than home equity line of credit, that's really the most common. Imagine if we go from only being, for the most part, I'm talking mass here, only being able to tap into the equity in your home as in terms of like physical assets into any assets you own. Imagine the impact that has on the economy, all the liquidity that could inject into the economy, not to mention helping millions of humans with better financial solutions as opposed to high interest rate credit cards. Like, it's such, to me, such an obvious thing. I know it isn't easy, and the rails still have to be built, the solutions still have to be built, but I think it's inevitable we get to that point. And like, we're close. Like, I can't remember the name, and I'm not trying to say competitor, but there was one, I think they're still around, but they really leaned into watches. I remember Cyrus was buying a bunch of Rolexes and then pulling out loans against them. It was another RWA platform, and Joe, you don't even have to name the name. It's irrelevant. It's not that important. But like, we're close to that today. You can bring on some RWAs and tap into liquidity. But if you think about it, it's pretty crazy.
Kettle Finance, but they changed their name.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. It is pretty crazy that I could go get a loan for today, like in seconds, go get a loan for, I don't know what the current rates are, let's say 4 or 5K on my PFP. Far easier than I could go get a loan on my Tesla or tap into equity on my Tesla. Like, that's crazy. Like, people, oh, well, cars depreciate. Well, so does a PFP, so does a digital asset. Like, there's ways, just because something may go down in value doesn't mean we can't build a solution that you can, use it as collateral, tap into the equity in it. Go ahead, Joey.
I remember the days, like we're talking about 3% on stable coins. I remember the days when our parents would set up a savings account for us with, like regular banks, and we were getting like 3 to 5%. Like that was normal back in the day on just a regular savings account. Now you're lucky if you get a 0.5% or 1% because the way the banks have changed everything. So like this idea of getting 3% for just holding an asset somewhere is not a crazy idea. And then you also look at things like, mature, like we talk about staking in this space and how like, oh, staking, you earn so much percentage, whatever. What do you think buying bonds was? Like our parents all bought us bonds, US Treasury bonds, when we were younger that they couldn't touch for 10, depending on the maturity, 5, 10, 20, 30 years. And then you got a return. Like my wife has some treasury bonds that her parents bought her from 30 years ago that have now matured that they paid $50 for. It's not a lot, but we're gonna trade them in, and we're gonna, because obviously there's no more interest on them because they're past the 30 years, and we're gonna get like $140 for that $50. So like this idea of like staking your money and earning a percentage and a yield and leaving it on a platform is not a new concept. It's been in traditional finance for a long time. So I don't know why we look at it in this space like why the TradFi space is looking at us and saying like, oh no, you can't earn yield, in crypto. What do you mean? You've been doing it for 100 years in TradFi and in banks, or more than 100 years. However long it's been.
Yeah, I mean the reason is they want to keep a stranglehold on those customers and not lose them to those that are providing better solutions and more competitive products. Bricketall says it's 70% loan to value on Coinbase. I assume that's just Bitcoin, but that's wild. I didn't realize it was that much.
Yeah. For Bitcoin on Coinbase, you can earn 70%. But I think I want it because I've looked it up before for somebody. I don't think it's on any amount though. I think there's a minimum amount to earn up to 70%.
Well, not earn 70%. Pull out 70% loan to value. So my question was like, what are the terms? And let's say you took out a $70,000 loan against your Bitcoin when it was 100K, and now it's 60K. Is it some sort of, is it margin call? Do they liquidate your Bitcoin? Like I wonder what the I'm going to do more research. I'm really intrigued. I didn't realize it was that aggressive already. So leads me to be optimistic that we might be closer than I think to this ultimate this end solution. We got about 8 minutes left. A few things I want to share on. There is a couple of
I got you, buddy. So the loan to value ratio. Wait, hold on. Where is it? So here's the liquidation. Here it is. The liquidation LTV is a predetermined LTV threshold that determines when your collateral will be sold by Morpho to repay your loan. So when you open up your BTC loan, you'll get a liquidation LTV in case, to your point, if it goes from 100K to 60K, what happens?
Yep.
So they do have a liquidation LTV whenever you take out a loan.
Makes sense. Excited for the future of finance being on chain. Couple other things I do want to hit on. One, high level, but before I go to the high level, which it was the first time seeing this metric for me, World Uncertainty Index reaches historical highs. I'll show the chart here in a second, but before I do so, I want to hit on a couple things. Because one, I'm going to give Joey another call to action since you gave us the generous Beezy gift this morning for Eddie Crypto. The other mint, a couple hot mints. If you saw yesterday, it wasn't just Net Citizens that minted out. There was, oh man, I'm drawing a blank. I knew the name.
Nachi Cartel.
Yes, minted out on Rarible, smaller collection, like 384 pieces. I tried to get in. It was a gas war without a gas war. I think some bots might have got one of the tiers. Not really exactly sure, but I wasn't able to get in. But it's trading well. And then Joey, the Survivor, I think it's called. Is that right?
Yeah, Survivors is the other mint that's happening right now. I think it's for like 14 days.
Yep, interesting mechanics here on this one. And this is there's another one that's happening.
Did you see the list I posted in the war room of like upcoming Mega ETH mints?
I did not, but if you can drop it in the chat, I'll pin it up top. And
Yeah, I'll find it.
on this survivors one, it's interesting mechanics to how you can mint. It's also they've incorporated royalties. So if you have to have a ref code, I believe, to actually mint. Joey, if you want to drop your ref code here, anyone that wants to go check out Join Survivors, use Joey's ref code. I think Joey will get 7% of the mint.
I don't have a ref code. I actually got it. I found that ref code from somebody in the Mega ETH Discord, and I haven't even done it yet. I need to go actually sign up for the mint.
So this is, again, I found it interesting. It's new, some novel mechanics. You got to go engage with like an AI character, earn some trust, and again, the only way to get in from to mint is get a ref code, and then to his point, it's minting for several days or several tiers. We'll probably spend. I don't want to because it's different. We may come back to that tomorrow and talk a little more, and it's not time sensitive. The other one that just hit my timeline as well is Magic Trader. Magic Trader also minting on Mega ETH. Nachi Cartel that he was just talking about. It's a free mint up to $500. Net Citizens. Oh no, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Take that all back. Magic Trader is the personality talking about Nachi Cartel was a free mint, ran up to $500. Net Citizens was a clean 2x from mint price. Here's some other ones. This might have been what Joey shared, but Mega Rebel mints tomorrow, 666 pieces, 66 one-of-ones. Mini Mines mints on the 16th, 3,300. Whitelist applications are in this link. And then Glitchy Bunnies, February 19th. Details to be determined. I'll pin this up top for anyone that wants to go.
Yep, that's the exact post.
It is that one. Okay, awesome. Well, yeah, thank you for sharing. Sorry I missed it, but we will we'll get that pinned up top. And
just so real quick with the Survivors one though, the price does go up every tier.
Okay.
So it started at, I think it started at we're at 0.047, I believe, right now. It started, the first tier was 0.037, then 0.047, then 0.057. And I think there's 5 tiers. So 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 maybe. So 0.077, I think, is the last tier. And you can get a ref code from like 3 different ways. So one way is like engaging with the AI, and the other is finding people that have already seeded. So that's what they're calling it. So like when you mint, you plant your seed, and then they get a ref code to share, and then they earn. And then there's I think the third way is actually, there is a third way. Maybe it's through engagement or something like that. But the two ways are get it from somebody who's already seeded or engaging with that AI.
Yeah, do your own research. I know nothing else about the project. I saw TMA partner with him, and TMA, while he is a KOL that does paid promos regular here in the show, I don't see him out there now. So I'm not talking about behind his back. I'd say the same thing to him in person. Does a lot of paid deals, also does unpaid deals, and has a pretty solid hit rate, pretty good track record. He was one of the early ones to Del Mondos. I think a lot of people in the DJ War Room ended up minting those Del Mondos after they saw TMA went and swept or minted like 100 of them or something. Pretty good hit rate, pretty good track record. He can also be wrong. This thing might not even mint out. Bring back the bonding curves. I say I kid, but we're really going down memory lane there. Yeah, Kettle Finance, Kettle Shop now is the current one. Dort, one of Rolex. Dort has just been running pure. Dort's maybe navigated the quote unquote bear as good as anyone in the space, collecting some assets he likes to collect, winning Rolexes. Couldn't happen to a better guy. Before we get out of here, though, I do want to show this chart. If anyone has any thoughts, comments, questions, we may talk about it more in tomorrow. It probably deserves a deeper dive because I do think it makes a lot of sense. This is wild. I don't know who makes this chart. It's my first time. I probably should have heard of it by now. My first time ever hearing about the World Uncertainty Index. Thinking of it like inverted fear and greed. It's, fear and greed, the lower the number, the worse sentiment is. Here, the higher the number, the more uncertain the world is. And it says the world is more uncertain right now than during 9/11, the Iraq War, and COVID combined. Blowing up the chart here, you can see it's currently over at 105,000 relative to COVID-19. It was around 50,000, a little above 50,000. The Iraq War and 9/11 was around 25,000. And it's been, in 2025, it's been a vertical line. It has been straight up. This matters a lot. forget crypto, markets, period. TradFi, crypto, and everything in between. Traders, investors don't like uncertainty. And well, the only investors like uncertainty are the long-term investors who are going to buy dips, and they like buying the discount. But as far as price action, uncertainty is like the worst spot for a market to be in for short-term price action. And if you think about it, when it's not just crypto fear and greed, when it's global uncertainty reaching levels that's higher than COVID, Iraq War, and 9/11 all combined, well, it's going to lead to volatile and not great price action in equities and in other markets. Certainly going to lead to not great price action on things that are further out the risk curve. And it doesn't matter if there's Bitcoin ETFs and ETH ETFs, and it's been adopted by TradFi. BlackRock's, made a big Uniswap purchase, and going to be their Buildle fund is going to be coming over on there's still a tremendous amount of tailwinds and positive stuff coming out of for the crypto industry and to support positive price action. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter when you see something like this. This is from Crypto Rand. Oh, that's the account, I guess. When you see something like this, like, markets don't like uncertainty. And when crypto and then everything else here is even further down the risk curve, you're just not going to have investor confidence. You're not going to have trader confidence. And maybe this is a made up chart. Maybe this is an important metric. I'd be curious, just as if you overlay fear and greed to the Bitcoin price, usually when fear and greed historically hits lows, it's extreme fear. Like right now, it's the lowest ever since the creation of the chart. This week, we've hit 5 on 2 separate days. It's often, no guarantee, but it's often a great time to buy. Buy when there's blood in the streets. Be fearful when others are greedy, and be greedy when others are fearful, to quote Warren Buffett. I think this is another, while this isn't fear and greed, I think it's similar in when you talk about sentiment and uncertainty. And so if you're wondering what the heck is going on with Bitcoin price action, we talked about, I see Oxy come back up. We had a great big brain conversation the other day regarding derivatives and the impact that's had on Bitcoin price action, to where theoretically it's no longer just 21 million Bitcoin. You can take one Bitcoin and create 5 or 6 different derivatives, and that's going to have an impact on price action, both directions. And so, yes, could that be playing a role in part of the Bitcoin price action in 25.5? Sure, it could. Could a 10-10 blow up, and then the casualties or the aftershocks of that, and people trying to make it all back, and then another trade blows up? Yeah, all that could be real. I think probably as big or bigger than that is just the current uncertainty throughout the world. And yet people are going to talk like, trade wars and it's all Trump's fault. Well, is he playing a role? Sure. But I don't think one person is moving trillions of dollars in the market based on things they say, or they go off on some Twitter rant. I just think it's the collective of a lot of uncertainty, trade war, conflict in Iran, Venezuelans still hanging over there, what's going on in Greenland, and then, not to sound ignorant, but in addition to all the other global stuff happening right now, it compounds, and you have so many things where the world the markets are uncertain of. It's Oxy, we lost you. I would like to get you in here if you want to do a quick lap and jump back up. Always has a good take. Anyways, point being, this is something I'm probably going to do a little more research on today, because it just came across my desk this morning before the show. If anyone has deep knowledge on this, probably Oxy, and I didn't get to him quick enough, or wants to chat, feel free to come up. We'll hang out for a couple minutes, another minute or two, or drop your thoughts in the chat. But it was my first time seeing this, and I'm like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Requires it's nuanced for sure. Probably requires more of a deeper dive to really understand it and look at some historical marks. But I'm not saying trade off of it, but it's something to be aware of. Here comes Oxy. And if you're curious why Bitcoin continues to bleed while there's mostly positive stuff happening, global uncertainty is, I think, certainly a factor. Maybe it's not the factor, but when you look at it, I mean, think about where we're at in the world today compared to COVID. My personal live journey, I've never been more uncertain about the world than I was during the first few months of COVID. I think I've shared previously. Oxy, we're going to get right to here in like 30 seconds or less. I think I shared previously, I was leading a global franchise at the time. I say global, we were primarily in the US and Canada, but we did have under a separate brand, some, we were in, I don't know, 17 countries or something. But primarily US and Canada for all intents and purposes. And went from hosting a monthly network update call with all of our franchisees was normal to during March, April, for a few months, was hosting, kid you not making this up, not exaggerating, went from a monthly network call with all of our franchisees to a daily call at noon every day. We'd jump on a call and we would just talk through things with our franchisees for an hour. Information we're getting in and policies, procedures, how you keep your store open, keep your team healthy. Like, there was just so much happening in the world, so much uncertainty. Fortunately, a lot of our franchisees made it through it. Ultimately, ended up having a banner year because even though things were closed, people needed more phones. Not just getting them repaired, but pre-owned phones, pre-owned MacBooks, etc. But still, it was a period of time that people were freaking out, and not everyone made it. By the way, there were some that it decimated and ultimately cost them their business. So much uncertainty that in that thing I lived through just a few years ago, it doesn't feel to me anywhere even remotely close to the fear, uncertainty, and doubt that I had in 2020 rather. But yet this chart says otherwise. Oxy GM, thanks for coming up. Thoughts on this or anything you want to add before we get everyone out of here today?
Yeah, and apologies. This is a very kind of like a bearish take here, but like I kind of can't blame. Go ahead.
No, I should say no. It's keep it real. Don't no need to sugarcoat this one. It is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I can't blame people for being like fearful at the moment. I mean, like if you just look around at one like the AI, obviously the doomer post where the reality of it is like AI is going to be taking a ton of jobs. And I know like January numbers just came out and they added jobs and stuff, but I think we're just at the tip of the iceberg as far as like, like a lot of both like white collar, like assistant jobs or receptionist jobs or what have you. I think we're like, there's going to be a reckoning there as it comes to, job losses, and people just don't know how to measure that with it when it comes to AI. And then you start looking at like, okay, so we have people losing jobs, and then we have uncertainty in the, the global economy with trade wars and all that kind of thing. And then you factor in just random BS. Like the market was talking about the Epstein file stuff today. Who knows, like, if that's going to have an impact? It's just uncertain. And then you look at all of that together, and like consumer credit is at all-time highs. And it's like, well, okay, people lose their jobs. People can't afford things because trade wars and prices are going up. Now people have credit that they can't pay because they don't have a job and everything's so expensive. And it's like, well, how is this all going to play out in the, the grand scheme of things? It's hard to quantify that. So I understand why people are skeptical and are like uncertain about where things are going. And obviously long term, things always work out, like at the end of the day, the stock market's going to end up going up only for the next bajillion years because it's just blipped on the radar. But if you're looking at medium term time horizons, I think it's a very fair take to be like, shit, dude, I don't know how this is going to impact things. So, I mean, it's hard for me to disagree with that sentiment, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So even though and I know my lived journey is not everyone's lived journey. Our world shut down for months, at least weeks during the pandemic. Like that was, and we'd never in our lifetimes never experienced anything remotely close to that. We've lived through trade wars before. We've lived through global conflicts. We've lived through actual wars. Like, I think what you brought into my brain is all of the global uncertainty, the geopolitical stuff right now, combined with the unknown of AI. And where does AI take us? That's something that was probably a blind spot for me, because while I'm not naive to think that there could be severe negative outcomes with AI could end humanity. Is like the most extreme worst case scenario. I skew more tech forward and optimist. I don't think that's how things are going to play out, but I'm not saying it's not in the range of outcomes. So I hear you, and I think that probably is, and I don't know if I'm in the minority, but there's definitely a lot of people that think this is really, really bad and all jobs are going to be gone. And what happens? I'm gonna go forward with an optimistic viewpoint on myself, for my family. What can I do to best position myself? And I don't mean to sound insensitive when I say this, but how can I capitalize on the world changing? Because, to that point, though, I think, as we were talking about the other day, how impactful this AI evolution is, and how fast it's changing society. I think this also drives it home. Even though they're going to put trade war on a graph and say, oh, it's that uncertain because of a trade war. I'm sure that's playing into it. It's so much more than a trade war. And I think AI probably, and this isn't even like, oh, you get, well, quantum computing and Bitcoin, and sure, but I think it's much more just the unknown of what does our world look like in 6 months, a year, 5 years from now. And I don't think anyone really knows. Smartest people in the world, people creating these AI machines, they don't really know. Like, they can be hopeful, they can be pessimistic, they can be optimistic, but no one really knows how this thing plays out unless they're the creators of the simulation. But yeah, that, you bring up a very valid point, probably a blind spot for me. And I think that probably, if not almost certainly, is playing a big part in this global uncertainty index. Go ahead, Oxy.
Yeah, and I guess maybe to clarify, like, I think AI is an incredible technology, and I'm using it all the time. I think it upskills myself, my work stream, everything is better using it because of its capabilities and time savings and efficiencies and stuff like that. I think the broader world, like, just aren't, tuned into what's possible, except for some very, the very, very smart people, or people that are like super tech forward, like we are. Like, if I went to my dad right now, he was a CFO, he's a super smart guy, and I told him what I could do with AI right now, he wouldn't have a clue. And I think they're the people that know what's possible, and how we're just at the very beginning of like what's really possible and what kind of efficiencies we can gain here. And then there's the people who don't truly grasp like how incredible this technology is. And so I think it's just like, okay, we know what's possible at this very, early stage of its life cycle. How is that going to impact the broader market? And just no one knows. So I guess it just goes back to that uncertainty of like, who knows how this is going to change, the receptionist job, or the, staff accountant job, or the what have you. Like, are they going to completely replace them? Are they going to have to upskill themselves to where only certain people that are willing to adapt are going to be able to do this type of job? Like, people just, like, no one knows because of how impactful this technology is and how revolutionary it really is. So I think there's just like a lot of that, like, well, I guess we're going to have to just wait and see. And until then, who knows what's going to happen, on top of everything else that we talked about, kind of adding to that uncertainty. So, yeah, weird world we're in, for sure.
It is, man. I still think it's the greatest time to be alive in human history. I think it's an incredible, like, this is probably a contrarian take or controversial take, but I, as someone who has built a professional career in consumer electronics and technology, and I was, I remember I was sharing yesterday, like, since I was a little kid, I've been looking forward to the day of robots, and like, so much is happening. It's happening so fast. I'm excited. At the same time, I am empathetic to those that are extremely concerned, and those that aren't wired like me. And it's not, there's not a right or wrong, by the way. It's just, it is what it is. And for those that prefer a 9-to-5 job and a fixed salary, and they know what they're making every month, and they're, they may have limited upside, but they also have, greatly mitigated their downside. Like, that's nothing wrong with that. It's not for me, but that's my personality. Like, for those that are wired that way, I can certainly appreciate how this change and this uncertainty would be far more concerning and stressful. I wish I had answers. Like, I'm also not a therapist. I I was sharing in the chat in response to Otis says, I don't process stress properly. I think that's how I ended up in crypto. I pride myself on being an aspiring stoic. I got turned on to the philosophy, I don't know, a little over a decade ago, and I kind of live my life that way. But I know you probably think like Chris is a very, I don't know, animated or emotional or overly optimistic. I mean, since I was young, since I first got turned on success principles in like 21, 22, 23, and I started attempting to live my life. I say aspiring because I'm not perfect, certainly not perfect, but I just, I try not to get too high, try not to get too low, and focus on things I can control, not putting my head in the sand, not being, ignoring things that are changing in the world. But all I do believe, I don't say I know for sure, is stressing out about things that we can't control or can't assert any change over. It stress begets to stress. Like it leads to more stress. It leads to more anxiety. And again, it's not stuff to ignore. You do need to plan for your career, your family, your livelihood. And I get all that. I also think we're not going to be in this state forever, right? I don't know the timeline, a year or two, 5 years, we have a much better idea of what AI is, its real impact on the world. And it's going to continue to evolve and continue to change. But I think hopefully in a few years' time, we're past the point of, oh my gosh, the robots are going to take over the world and annihilate humanity. I don't think that's the case in the range of outcomes, but I'm hopeful that this current state, this current global uncertainty is not long lasting. And if we get back to some certainty, please don't take this the wrong way, I'm not rooting for trade wars to erupt into full-blown wars or, the reality is one of two, at peace in the Middle East or an actual full-on war. Either one of those outcomes, two extremes, either one of them probably sends markets because there's a piece of more certainty. We figure out AI is now controlled, we're comfortable with it all, probably sends markets because again, the uncertainty is at least limited. As the more I talk through this, Oxy, it may like maybe it's always lingering like what AI might become. Like, do you have even a guess on like if you were to pick in a year, in 3 years, in 5 years, 10 years, we'll have a much better, clearer understanding of the future of AI. I don't even know. I have no idea what timeline to even put on it. Do you have a guess?
Yeah, I really don't. What's crazy is like if you think about how quickly this is moving, it makes me feel like if I don't know, 3 years from now or even a year from now, it's going to be almost unrecognizable what you can do. I mean, when was ChatGPT available to the public? Like, I mean, what, a year ago? Maybe 2 years ago now?
2 years, I think. It might have hit like critical mass and really exploded last year, but if I'm not mistaken, I think a couple years.
It says 2022, so okay, so maybe it's a little bit longer than that. November 30th, 2022. But then, like, I mean, I don't know. It's just moving so fast, and maybe I just don't have enough like purview into like what's been built and what's been available to people, just because I'm not in that field or what have you. And then this has been more available to people for longer than that. But if I look at what was it possible with ChatGPT? You couldn't even do math on ChatGPT at the very beginning. I don't know if you remember that,
but like math, it just give you a wrong answer.
Yeah, right, of course, yeah, and then yeah, exactly. And now I can have it pull in an entire Excel, like give it some information. It'll pull together an entire Excel with formulas and macros and all of this kind of thing, and then it'll throw it into an HTML dashboard, and it'll all be perfect. It's like. And then on top of all the agentic stuff that you can do with it, I mean, it's just like moving so incredibly fast, and it's just so hard to quantify and trying to determine what that's going to look like. But I don't know. It's just I don't really have an answer on that either. It's just so hard to.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I will say this: if you enjoy change and you're a change agent, you embrace change, you're probably loving life. If you do not like change, I'm not saying this lightly. This is not a joke. I would encourage you to find a good therapist, not just ChatGPT. I know a lot of people are using ChatGPT to talk to it as a therapist. Find a good human that's not your spouse, your significant other, your family member. Find someone that you can talk to. I don't actively see a therapist. I've seen a therapist. When I went through my divorce, I talked to a therapist, and it had a tremendous impact on my life. I will be forever a proponent of it's for whatever reason, society associates some sort of stigma to therapy. And if you think about it, like, this is a new thing. Like, back 100, 200 years ago, like, the idea of having an advisor, a therapist, somebody you could talk to, like, it was reserved for like kings and queens, like the wealthiest of the wealthy, the top 0.01%. Now, most people, you can have access to that sort of advice, that sort of support, that sort of therapy for, I don't know, $25 copay, a $50 copay. Maybe you got to pay out of pockets $100. It'll probably be the best $100 you ever spent if you're really struggling right now. And just because I think we're going to be okay, and this will pass. It's the uncertainty is it. Understand why it's uncertain right now. But if you're really struggling and you're not sure, like, don't, and you the only reason you're not talking to a therapist, you think someone's going to think poorly about you or be negative, or like, mental health is so important. And I know we're going to talk markets and products and builders and culture on this show. You've all, not just friends, like, become, I'd call you family, and I care about you. I don't have all the answers, but if I can share something, pay it forward, something to help me in my life, that's one of the reasons I continue to do that. Will show up every day, and I'm not going anywhere, because I am forever grateful. There was some people I mentioned. My first mentors after my football coach was, I turned me on to just different ways of thinking at a very young age, and it's had an ongoing impact in my life. And any little of those nuggets I can share, if it helps one person tuning in today, it was worth hanging out for 20, 21 minutes extra. Let's go back to Oxy for a quick response, then Quirky Quirk. I do got to get out of here, so like lightning round, but go ahead, Oxy, and then we'll get Quirky Quirk in here for 30, 60 seconds.
Yeah. So just really quick, I was talking about people who don't like change. So I'm very much a tech forward person. I love change. I love learning the new thing and all that kind of stuff. My wife is like the opposite, where she's like, dude, if I could live on a prairie and, make my own butter at home and, cook my own bread or whatever, she's like, I'm all for that kind of thing. But it is like a really cool duality to where, like, I can teach her and like show her what's possible with AI. Like, I was building out dashboards for her with Claude the other day for her work. And she's like, wow, this is incredible. And then at the same time, she turns around and like kind of slows me down. Like, I'm just obsessed with trying to figure out how to vibe code something or whatever. So it is a funny duality, because there's, obviously people on both sides, and it's just important to remember that, because not everyone likes what's going on, and talk to your friends about it.
Probably good to have people like that in your life, whether it's your spouse or a close friend. If you're not going to go talk to a therapist, if you're like a doomer and you think AI is going to ruin the world, have a regular weekly talk with someone who's on the other end of the spectrum, someone that can kind of balance that. And same, like, it's good for me to talk to people who aren't as optimistic about the future as I am, to kind of, balance that stuff out. It is important. It's great if it is your significant other, your spouse, but if not, find someone who doesn't think exactly like you, like, be similar, like-minded, and have a lot of things you do share in common. You like each other, but when it comes to global uncertainty, maybe it's good to balance that stuff out. Oxy, one more, and then Quirky Quirk, I did see your link. We did share the Something Big Is Happening article yesterday. You talked about it quite a bit yesterday, so don't. I'm not trying to be rude. Just don't have time to rehash that one. But and I've seen some takes too. Some people dunking on it, saying, "Oh, this guy's he's an AI. He's a founder of an AI writing tool or software." And at the end of it, it's just a long-winded way of saying, "Subscribe to my AI software for $20 a month." I didn't take that from the article. It was not my interpretation. Did he use his AI software to write it? Probably. Does he have some incentive to go viral on X and turn people onto his writing software? Probably. I think the advice to spend $20 a month on a ChatGPT or Claude subscription is very good advice. And it wasn't his, forget his own, whatever his, I couldn't even tell you the name of his own software, but I do think if you have any subscriptions right now, if you're spending $28 a month on Netflix and you can't afford anything else, cancel your Netflix and spend $20 on Claude or ChatGPT and use it every day for at least an hour. And then a month from now, if you don't like it, if you're not seeing value, go back to your Netflix subscription. sorry for my rant. Oxy and then Quirky.
Yeah, nothing really to add. Just say, check on your friends, right? Talk to your friends, get their opinion, get their thoughts on it. And get a diversified group of people to talk about it with, because it's important to hear all aspects of it. Definitely agree.
Wholeheartedly agree. Quirky Quirk, good to see you. Sorry for the brevity, but I do have to get to a meeting here quickly, and I'm going to have to take a mobile stream drop before I do so.
No worries. Top of the morning to you. And I actually, honestly, you kind of covered everything I was going to say about it. And I'm glad that you talked about it yesterday. I would say a couple things. One, definitely talk to a therapist, because not just you personally, but the world, because I think it's amazing what kind of other perspectives you can get from somebody who doesn't necessarily have a vested interest in what you are personally experiencing or who you're interacting with, but can see things from the outside. I think everybody can benefit from that. Two, I shared that article with everyone that I know, especially people that aren't in our world and aren't in AI, like my family and friends and people who have been hating on AI, because I think it does offer a really great perspective into what's on the horizon. And I think it opens people's eyes and minds into realizing that, maybe they should ditch that Netflix subscription and maybe pick up a real pro subscription to ChatGPT or Claude or whatever it might be. And three, what Oxy was saying, like, have friends who are in this. Like Jeremy from VFriends, who's in here, I know, and I have been meeting weekly just to like debrief on the different things that we're seeing on the edge, because we're both building our open claw molt bots, Claude bots out, and it's been absolutely wild to see what kind of things it's coming up with, like philosophical discussions that my bot is having autonomously with other bots on the Mold book is really mind-opening and mind-bending and actually pretty wild. So there's definitely some cool stuff. Love being on the edge of it and love talking about it. So there's my 30 seconds to 45 seconds. Hopefully that was succinct enough for you, Cap.
Yep, appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you jumping up and adding the combo. Not to bring everyone down on a negative spin, but this was just shared, and I have a one of my group chats. Kid you not, the title of it is Robot Future. Anything from, I've got friends that have several, it's not all, several of them in there have Teslas. Several of them have the robot lawnmowers, from smart cameras, and just think of like smart home automation. And I'm sure one of them will be one of the first buyers of an Optimus Prime, if I were to guess. Anyways, they just shared this post here from Microsoft CEO. Most of the tasks accountants, lawyers, and other professionals currently undertake will be fully automated by AI within the next 12 to 18 months. No one is denying it anymore. Again, not to incite fear, it's just reality. And you use it. You'll realize pretty quickly that, like, oh, why would I, like, in my regional business, I had a bookkeeper on payroll. That all can be automated now. Yeah, you're going to have to grant it access to your bank accounts and stuff like that. But also, if you're not comfortable with that, export the spreadsheets and upload it, and it's going to do as good, if not better, job. Not have to worry about human error, and do so not in 20 to 40 hours a week, but in minutes for $20 a month. And that's just one thing. I can't tell you how many legal bills I've paid, not for attorneys, but for junior associates or paralegals, for them to draft or review documents. And again, I'm not saying if you need legal advice, talk to an attorney, but the administrative work, it's $20 a month for all this stuff. There's free version. It could probably do a pretty decent job, but there is no denying it. The world is changing. There is a lot of uncertainty. I'm not saying if you use these, the software, that it's going to eliminate all uncertainty, but I think it hopefully will. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I just think you're better off to be a part of it, understanding it, utilizing it, than on the outside looking in and having no idea other than what you see in the news or on the feed of what's actually happening. And so when you see articles like something big is happening yesterday, and you see stuff like this, you can realize that, everything, there's a range of outcomes. This is certainly one, but use the stuff and check on your friends. I think that's a good one to end on. As Oxy said, check on your friends. Everyone's impacted by this differently. Most aren't as optimistic as myself on many things, let alone the future of our world and AI. But check check on your friends, be a good friend. I don't have all the answers, but if you ever really need to chat, DM me. Actually, do what Diego did this morning. If you send me a DM, the best way to get my attention is reply to this space or my GM post in the morning, which links the space, and say, Cap, check your DMs. And then I can immediately click the person, click the DM, and it takes me right to it. And you'll get a quick response. What doesn't get a quick response, unfortunately, I'm working on this. I'm going to do my best to get better, is if you sent me a DM at 8:02 a.m. this morning, didn't ping me on the timeline, and by now it's buried 40 messages deep, primarily because I'm in too many group chats still, and I just won't see it. What I need to do, not this weekend because I have plans, but some weekend I need to have my OpenClaw specifically manage my X inbox, and I need to say, I'm working on it. I'm going to get better. 2026 is the year I'm going to manage all my DMs and have inbox zero in my DMs. I just don't do it. I know myself well enough now. I might do it for a day, a week, a month, and eventually I'm going to get a backlog again. And I don't want to ignore people. I don't want to be rude. It's a jerk. I need to be better. And then now there really is no excuses because of this technology. I should be able to just spend some time setting it up. And then once it's done, I get an automated report every day that says, hey, this is an important message. Go respond to this one. Or it auto replies to ones that aren't important, says thanks, but no thanks. Like again, I need to spend time setting it up, but then there's no excuses for this kind of stuff. I need to get better, and I can with the help of AI.
I sent you one at 8:07, Cap, so that was my bad.
No, all good. All good. Thank you all today. Appreciate the conversation. Really did enjoy it. Stay safe out there. A lot of mints happening on Mega ETH, as we talked about. Make sure you're clicking official links. Be safe. And yes, this is the alpha. Better chance of DM if you want to response. DM the Coffee with Captain account, especially if you're want to talk about a sponsorship or partner with us. That won't be missed. And also tag me. But anyways, I digress. Thank you all so much. We'll be back tomorrow, 8 a.m. Eastern time. Appreciate all of you. Thanks again to Joey for the claw pull for Eddie Crypto, and thank each and every one of the 300 of you that have subscribed to our YouTube account. I can't tell you how much it means. My words won't do it justice. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. And yeah, on this point, Nikita, it's funny, called out, he said in 90 days, all of our emails, our phone, our text messages, they'll be unusable because of the amount of spam. The irony here is my worst place for messages right now is my XDMs. And it's not spam, I guess, but it is borderline unusable, partially because you can't search. Like I go to search, like why I said tag me is I can click your account and go right to you. So if I go search, like if I go to my account right now and search for Quirky Quirk, it won't find it. It's really broken. But I can click his profile and then click the little message button and I'm there. So anyways, sorry, I'll stop dunking on Nikita. Nikita, please don't nerf my space. Please let us find and discover the audio or the video spaces tomorrow. And last but not least, shout out to Jesus and an idiot for helping us talk through some of that Xeet creator stuff. If you want more information on that, if you want to continue that conversation, if you're looking for some cards, probably a good chance to claim some cards on that show. That's at 11 o'clock, also pinned up top. Go give our guy Jesus some love. And thank you all very much. Have a great one. We'll see you tomorrow.